The button.
Yeah, and this is it. We're here.
This is it.
With Pete and Mark.
Hello.
We're talking TV lineups.
We're talking TV.
Yeah, for Dream Warriors episode 33.
Wow. 33, baby.
Yeah, hit the music. Hit it. So you were making a point of how awesome we are.
Pretty much. This. I think it's just I guess that's like the awesome chaos of, but I think that's what makes it work. It's like, hey, I know we've both been busy, and then we're like, we'll talk about something. I think you called me and we talked about some weird ass, like the weird television stuff.
Yeah,
the line everything every day on television just seems to be comic book stuff.
Yeah,
and how are we not watching all of it when years ago we were like, we're not watching, there was none, now there's too much, and now we don't, now we're so discerning.
You know what, I think you just nailed it with too much. And now we were just discussing Twin Peaks coming back, which I wasn't aware of that was even back on. And I guess that it explains why YouTube had a run of Twin Peaks retrospectives and reviews. I just thought like they were copying one another as opposed to like building up content for like a bigger release. But I'm oblivious to a lot of the TV stuff. But so now
there's so much. Because every day there's a press release, there's something coming, and then here it comes, and there it is.
Yeah, so like, so is Twin Peaks going to usher in like an age of nostalgia again?
Well, I think that I think a couple things are going on. I think that something. So the Flash has, just as this is an example, the Flash had Captain Cold and Heatwave, which are the Prison Break brothers.
Yes.
And then they were like, "Whoa, everyone likes these guys. Remember these guys." So they actually brought Prison Break back for a soft miniseries.
Yeah.
And if it does well, to do more. They did it with the X-Files. The X-Files did well, and they're going to do another season, like another little mini thing. The 24, unfortunately, went off the rails, and then they did 24 Legacy. I don't think it's coming back.
Yeah, some people told me that 24 Legacy was pretty good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But Roseanne got announced this week. Do you know about that?
No,
Roseanne?
I saw things about like they're going to reveal what happened to the husband.
Well, in the last episode, I think they said that he died.
Yeah, I thought he died of a heart attack.
They're just not going to do it.
He's going to come back.
And then, but what's funny is
Cloverfield.
It's 10 Cloverfield Lane. Yeah. John Goodman. He's going to put everyone in the basement and play some stuff on. He's going to dance at the jukebox.
Roseanne just got real.
But I think they're not bringing back, which I thought was unfortunate. They're not bringing. I don't see Laurie Metcalf's not in it, which is bad. Because she was one of the only actors in it, and she grounded the show.
Yeah,
I thought she was the best part of the show.
And you know what, too? She's someone, wherever she's in, she
makes it better.
Yeah, she's awesome, fantastic.
Yeah, she makes the when she's Sheldon's mom, I think, in the television show in Big Bang Theory.
Oh, okay, I never,
But they're actually bringing both Beckys on, but Sarah Chalke's playing a different character, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Hey.
So I don't know what they're doing, but I think it's strange. But no, I think that this is kind of doing it. But that's the way I think I said that when we were talking about Riverdale, like how Riverdale just took the 90s nostalgia. The one Hermione Lodge was on the OC. Archie's dad is Luke Perry from 90210.
Yeah.
Matt Janamick was on Twin Peaks. She's Alice Cooper. Predates Alice Cooper.
Dude, that's funny.
But they did all that. And Skeet Ulrich was in. That's Jughead's dad. He's F.P. Jones.
Skeet Ulrich is?
Yeah, he's on Archie. He's on Riverdale. I don't know how you didn't watch that, dude. I think it's going to super blow up when it hits Netflix full.
Yeah.
Before season 2. Huge.
Maybe
I'm wrong.
That's cute for Netflix, right?
Well, they had the upfronts this week for CW, and that's kind of I saw a ton of upfront stuff and on CW for this week, and they had Riverdale front. Riverdale was literally on, and even though it's the lowest rated throughout the shows, and someone actually asked them in the upfronts. They said, "How are you putting Riverdale all through this, and they're like, oh, it's all overseas, Netflix, and DVR.
Wow.
It's all streaming, so they track that show. That show technically would have been gone.
It's almost like, how does that even, like, because I kind of just have, like, even feelings, and there's so much that comes out about, like, Facebook and how the numbers are corrupted, and like even now, it's like you still don't know what, like, advertising does on Facebook and how it turns into something like lucrative. And it's kind of like, I just feel like the newer model, everything you just described, is a lot like that, to where it's like, how do you, like, as a network, how do you make money when things are DVR'd and they're streaming, and you're and I get it, like, you might get a piece of the subscription cost to the customer, but it doesn't seem like there's enough, even like Netflix wise. There's just, like, Netflix would have to get up to like 5 or 6 times like their numbers now to get, like, to beat the type of money you make through advertising on television. Like,
I have no idea how that works. I don't know. Like, I don't understand how Netflix works at all.
It's
at
just
this point.
It's just weird that, like, they can kind of even, like, take that position. They're saying, oh, it's going to be overseas, it's going to be streaming, it's going to be, and you're like, really? Like, what do you do off of streaming? Like, you already made the investment to make the show. Like, how, like, what are you now selling around the show? Yeah,
or maybe it's a royalty in viewing, because I think that's the way music works on Spotify and things. That's why, like, you know, Taylor Swift pulled her music off of Spotify because it wasn't, the revenues weren't high enough. Like, well, I'm just going to force everyone to buy it, so I'm out.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think I think the desperate people are the ones that want their music on Spotify because, like, they don't have, like, an audience. And I get it, like, bands like probably Metallica and U2 are like, well, it adds to what we already have. Okay, but it's like, are we going to get someone, like, becoming a Taylor Swift off of Spotify? Like, I don't know. I don't think because that person would need money. They would need money to continue. Yeah. I don't know how much money Spotify can generate for someone. It just seems goofy.
I feel almost bad. Well, that's why I always tell you about the weird shows I go to, because that's the only way I've ever found that tennis. That was, oh my god. You knew that? I mean, we met people right after that show though. Yeah, they were like ridiculous. Like, they were super fans.
Do you know real quick? I'll tell you who I saw 2 weeks ago. Amon Amarth.
I actually don't know that.
Norwegian death metal band. Dude,
how did you not tell me? I would have went to that shit.
It was one of the best. Well, my buddy and I, him and I, saw Megadeth. These guys were one of the 4 bands that opened for Megadeth, and we loved them. We were like, yo, and then we just separately, like, we just started listening to them, like, at the same time. And I think, like, I sent him, like, a screenshot of the album when I was listening to it, like, as he was, like, listening to it. He's like, I'm doing the same thing, and we're like, and then, like, he did the due diligence and tracked them and bought concert tickets, and which I was, like, happy with the price. They were, I think, $25.
Where'd they play?
South Street, the TLA. Yeah, TLA. And then, like, afterwards, we hung out at the Boiler Room, which is the bar right next door.
Yeah, it used to be the Redwood.
And they had 2 freaking, like, chicks on the bar dancing. It was like something like it was like an 80s gang movie, like, you know, or like the 80s future gangs, or like the 90s movie future gangs. Always envisioned like these collection of.
That was my birthday week, I think 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was there and I saw Morchiba by myself. I saw Chromeo the night before, and then the next day I was late.
I remember when you saw Chromeo.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah. I think oh my god, that Chromeo show was nuts. And
I think was I your backup for that?
I asked everyone. I had 2 tickets to that. No one went with me.
Because I
always buy the tickets.
I listen,
and I always go.
Yeah, I listen to them based on our. But I don't know if maybe you told me afterwards or something. That's weird.
I don't know. And then the next day I went. I had lunch at Center City with somebody. I was hungover. Took the wrong way home. I went to Repo Records. I bought records, and then on the counter they had Morchiba tickets.
Okay.
And then I was like, "Are those real tickets?" And then the girl was working. She's like, "Yeah, you can take whatever you want." Now, I just made friends the night before, so I call them like, yo, I just grabbed 4 tickets.
Yeah.
You should come back up. They were from like Atlantic City. And they're like, oh, no, we all have to work. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I went that show by myself, but I ended up waiting for them with this one guy named Dexter, I think. And then we went to the Redwood, which was Boiler Room now.
Oh,
But we pretty much, it was a Wednesday night. And it was just us and the band, and they couldn't go to New York. They weren't allowed to go to New York. Like the tour manager came over to me and this guy Dex, who does all the records.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him, and that was Mike. I forget who it was. Anyway, but they were like, we can't leave, and they thought I was with the bar. They thought I worked for the bar. So the guy was like, the tour manager was
that's
like,
why they were. Okay.
Yeah, the tour manager was like, hey, can you keep your bar open for like another couple hours? I'm like, sure. And then he gave me like $300. He's like, okay, go get us all drinks. And then everyone came off the tour bus. And I went in and I was like, hey, and they were trying to close. It was midnight. And I was like, yo, you got to keep your bar open. We're getting off. So I facilitated this weird thing where I was not part of the bar. I was not part of the band, but I was like in the middle of it. So that's a lucky bar. That bar's lucky. I've had a lot of fun at that bar.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, they have a special. You can get a PBR and shot. So you can get PBR pounder or tall boy for and a shot for $6. Which is awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. I was there with the girl last night. We went through like 4 rounds of that.
Oh my god.
Like and because we saw Guardians 2 again, and
Your third time, 3 times.
Yeah, for a third time, and going into that, I don't know why I did it here with someone else, this nurse girl. I was completely out of like just things to do with alcohol, like things to mix. But what I had was whiskey. Like not to mention we have like there's like every bottle right now that I'm looking at is either gin, rum, or whiskey, and so there was like no vodka. Like vodka's like the baseline. Okay, so completely out of vodka at the time. So we did whiskey and not your father's root beer.
All right.
Which was a disgusting
Like
combination.
it's so sweet. It's like
Dude,
really sweet.
It was so bad, but we actually like killed half a bottle of whiskey just doing that, and killed like a bunch of. So that's why I brought to the movie last night. So and I was the theater we went to has like arcades. So I went there with like a pocket full of quarters and dollars. Yeah. I went there just with a pocket full of like everything. So I'm like waiting for her. I'm like already like drinking, playing Jurassic Park the game, playing the like the Fast and Furious, the Tokyo Drift, which is like probably my all-time favorite sit-down arcade game, like that. But dude, like, and so by the time she shows up, I'm like already like, hey, it's good to see you. Like fumbling the tickets out of my pocket. I already got the tickets, dude. But I'll tell you one thing: that Jurassic Park arcade game, it's a 2-person seater, and you're in this like enclosed environment, and you have like there's 9 missions, and you just like drive around shooting things. But dude, it is like it's intense, dude. It's such an awesome game, and they have like these like groups of velociraptors, and they're all like fun colored. They're all like neon colored and yellows and blues. You're like, do this for the movie because it just looks so. So we were like, and she started playing that with me. So we had like it was a really good run, and we ended up at the Boiler Room because we took a little bit of a walk, just like getting out. There was like a 20-minute walk, and yeah, that was good. And then things happened.
Okay, so our process is strange. So I'm like, hey, I'm thinking that I'm thinking that Sunday nights are probably the best because of the way my kid's schedule is and everything like that. So Sunday nights pretty much work because I get ready for work. So we're trying to knock out that we do Sunday nights consistently. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we started talking about TV and there's a lot of strangeness and a lot of good and a lot of bad comic TV. So this is pretty much just a comic rundown, straight up.
Yeah.
I try to break it up by network and then what is out and what's coming. So I'll just kind of kick off. Let's kick off what's.
Yeah. So let's go by. Well, we'll go by network. We'll go by your recommendations. I'll chime in when I can because it's by this point, and I guess I should just get back into it in case people haven't been listening to previous episodes. I do not watch a lot of television. I have a low tolerance, but we're congruent on this. If a show doesn't hit you, it doesn't grab you, sticking with it, quote unquote, until it becomes good is just a waste of time. And I don't know if you know this, but our time on Earth is limited.
But like, when did that happen though? Because we both have people in our lives that would be like, well, you gotta wait until like season 3, and I'm like, well hold on a second. There are like 23 episodes, so I'm going to be taking 2 days of my life. You're saying I'm going to be taking about 2 days of my life, right?
If you're on a good run,
right?
Like, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take 2 days of my life to get through something that I don't really need, but oh man, you know what I mean? Like, but the payoff is at like season 3, so I don't know if I can do it. And the best example of this, I think, like, well, I guess I won't skip to it, but I'll tell you later when we get into it. But here's the thing. So, okay, so Fox, right? They have Gotham, which is the pre-Batman Batman. And for me, I try maybe six episodes.
Okay.
I just don't want it. I don't think that any of these things, I'm of the mind of, I like the Batman concept that Batman, in a weird way, escalated the villainy.
Yeah.
That if there was no Batman, there wouldn't be all this crazy villains.
So was real quick. So side note on that. So was that as clear in any of the comic runs as it was in Batman Begins? That escalation was the cause of. But I guess in the comics it was reversed because Superman was the escalation of the rise of the heroes. But they never really explained. Like, it was always, like, heroes first. Okay? And, which is weird, too, like, because people are like, oh, that it was fine with that. But then, when they do heroes first for, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's bad. You don't do villains well enough. Like, you know, like, it doesn't get applied to the movies as
I think Civil War does the thing we're saying that, like, you're doing more bad than good.
Yeah.
Like, Avengers are doing more bad than good. I think that's great. I like that.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I think the Dark Knight, like, being this focal point, capturing escalation within that environment, and now having these guys having to one-up one another because, you know, like, they're psychotic criminals, and having a Mr. Freeze, having Clayface, the Penguin, the Riddler, like it makes so much sense. And it works I think it works in the environment of Gotham City. I could never get into Gotham. I don't know. Like, on the sheer fact that the villains are going to be like 20 years older. So by the time he becomes Batman, let's say he's like 25. The villains are going to be like 40. He's going to kick all their asses.
Well, I think the thing with Gotham, the thing that bugged me was like, see, I think that, and we just talked about Guardians because you like Guardians a lot more than I do, the Guardians too, and I think it's because I've read everything. Like, I've read every Guardians comic.
Yeah.
Like, not kidding. Yeah, I've read every Guardians comic.
When we were doing our pregame, was Valentino involved with the 3000 version of Ghost Rider? That come? That was him.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that being in the 30s.
Skimmed / reread. No, I think it was even before that. It might have. Yeah, he had like one appearance, and then later on he was.
Yeah,
in it again.
He came back. Yeah, because like that was such a weird thing. Because I think when I was younger, like, I couldn't understand the Guardians being the future team, and then having Marvel 2099, and 2099 has a Ghost Rider. Like, it just messed. Like, I was like, is like, I thought they were like linked. Like, when I was younger.
Well, then they made like Ghost Rider Legacy. They turned that into almost like an inadvertent legacy, because then they even say that the old Ghost Rider, and then the movie tried to do that too. They were like, oh, the horse. I thought the movie Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, I think that works.
I just don't like them all existing at the same time.
Right.
Like, and that's what they did with Spawn, and it never went over with Spawn. Like, having Cagliostro there to help Al Simmons control his power. It never worked.
Medieval Spawn.
Yeah, but revealing that there is a legacy is so much more awesome. And I don't know, but I guess you can't beat. You can call them just trailer shots of the horse on fire next to the motorcycle on fire. And I guess, like, in hell, speed's just relative. because a horse on fire could run as quick as a motorcycle on fire. I guess it's just the mode of transportation has a single speed.
Right.
Like, I just, whenever I see that shot, I just imagine, like, a rollerblader on fire keeping up with them.
Right.
And someone on, like, a razor scooter on fire keeping up with them.
Well, the car would make sense if they did the Robbie Reyes version, so that would make sense. But
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, so
Gotham, I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
but that's 3 seasons deep. And my dad, I was just talking to him about it yesterday. Like, it's my dad's favorite show. Like, it's like straight up.
My mother loves Gotham.
So I don't know. It's not for me. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's where, like, I guess this is where, like, I guess we, like, sometimes kill it when we come to the table. Like, we know we're not going to like the meal before we sit down.
Right.
Because the people that I know that like Gotham, they never read Year One. They don't even know what Year One is. They have no idea that Pat Broderick drew Year 3.
Right.
Dropping the geek knowledge there.
Right,
okay,
right.
They have no idea that Grim Reaper was the weird villain for Year 2, drawn by
Right.
Todd McFarlane. Which
Right.
what was that all about? But anyway, but like they don't have this weight, and they can sit down and enjoy the show. Like my mother, like I remember her telling me, like one Christmas was like, "You gotta watch season 2. It's the rise of the villains."
Right.
And she's like so
You'll be fine.
excited about
Just
it.
Get through season 1. Like, I don't want to get through anything.
Yeah,
I'm not interested in getting through.
I just and look, I try not to do it, but I do it though. Like you dislike something, you dislike the premise, you don't like the positioning prior to. I'm pretty sure Norm watches Gotham. Norm likes Gotham a lot, but I don't know.
I think they got it wrong. Okay, I think that Fox doesn't cast well. CW casts great. CW is where they cast right. I think that the guy they got for Gordon is just a little too clean. I know he's the OC kid.
He should be rougher looking.
And I just think the guy doesn't work. I know he try. I understand. From what I understand, he works really hard. Yeah. And that people love it, but I can't not see the kid from the OC. So it doesn't work for me. Like, it doesn't work.
I forgot that he was.
So I can't do it. And even like the Bullock character, like I like that guy Donald Logue, but I never loved his Bullock. I thought I would, like on paper, I'm like that would work, and then for whatever reason it doesn't exactly work. But they're on season 4. They're doing Quarter Owls. It's coming out September. Okay,
They're doing Quarter Owls.
Yeah,
on Gotham.
Yeah, but like,
no Batman.
What? Yeah. See, like that's the thing. I can't see. I can't do. Like I don't know. Like that's the thing. Because the only thing that made the Quarter Owls go in the comics is because they'd take them apart.
Yeah, well, there's that, but it's also that when by this time the Dark Knight is well established, and the Court of Owls has been there the entire time, like under his nose, and that is where that is like you understand the deadly threat from that because like obviously like you can't investigate them. They've been there the entire time. They're 10 steps ahead of you.
Yeah, but it's no different than them. Like it's a Freemason. Like that's like what it's like the secret underground Freemason. So it's like
the
I get it's always been
overlords.
There. Yeah, it's always been there. I don't know. To me, I don't know. Not for me. Now this is the opposite. Is that there's not a lot of source material of this next thing, and I love it. And that was the FX's Legion. Number one, it was short. This was 8 episodes long. Yeah. Or I think it was even 8 or 10.
I've seen 3.
All right, the first one's like a great movie.
I watched the first one. I think episode 1.
It's a good looking movie.
2.5 times, like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's clean. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a television director.
Yeah.
What? Like you know what I mean? Like that's a television budget.
Showrunner from Fargo.
Yeah. So like I thought that was very good, and because there wasn't a lot of source material, I wasn't exactly sure of what's going on. But I think even like say I'd say the FX, the Legion, first episode, the last 10 minutes, is a great X-Men movie.
Yeah,
because the escape is fantastic, and they're doing X-Men-y stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
right? They're combining powers. They're flowing into one another,
and it's kind of the perfect thing because they have it titled real well. It's called Legion, but then they have the X in there. They promote it as Marvel, but it's not flashy. And that goes into the next thing, which I don't understand, is they have an X-Men television show called The Gifted, which has no
Yeah.
X-Men. Like, there's no X. It's not X-Men the Gifted. What is the marketing? What is the concept? Like, hey, did you see the new The Gifted?
Yeah, because like,
what are they
I'll
doing?
tell you, like, I think from a marketing standpoint, I think the idea is that they know they have one of the best source material, like, IPs ever, just when it comes to the X-Men universe, and I think they know that linking it to the movies won't help the show. Like, it won't. Like it's almost like this show can stand on its own. That's why Legion's not linked to the movies. The concepts are so strong. They can, and the X-Men have always been like, the Avengers never had that. No other idea. I think no other idea. Maybe Fantastic Four if they took that approach, but I don't think there's no other core of ideas in comics that is infectious like X-Men. Like the X-Men franchise entails, because you literally can do like a teen drama X-Men with Jubilee and Richter, Cannonball, like, and you can just have this like teen, what you saw a little bit of in like in the Apocalypse movie. Like, you saw that teen angst angle for a little bit, but like you can do things with X-Men, and I think this is a little bit what Fox does on the higher level when it comes to milking an IP that you bought for $200,000, if I remember, $200,000 or $300,000. But taking that IP and giving it a set of legs that I don't think we've seen, like, between, like, again, like what they did with the movies, the animation, the video games, and now television. Everyone's like, holy crap, man! Like in the '90s, everyone knew that X-Men would take over forever, and they kind of have. Like, I do agree with that. They just, they're, I don't know. I did watch the comics explained, Trial of Jean Grey. Oh my, dude, what is? It's so sad listening to what has come of the X-Men. It's so heartbreaking. I just can't do it. Like, I'm sorry. I'll just sit down and watch the night.
It was a pre-trial, right? Because she didn't do anything wrong yet, I think. They put her on trial.
They put the younger version of her,
right, for crimes that
the future version committed.
Oh my god, I want to just erase it.
So
I think it's not in my head because it was a Bendis. It was just like a
but it's like, what is? But this is where we are. Where, like, for the X-Men, like, a side adventure is Onslaught. A side adventure for the X-Men is the Dark Phoenix saga. A side event, like, their side adventures would obliterate any other team in comics. Like, they would. I don't care what anyone says. Look, I get it. Like, you have Superman, but they would wipe out the Justice League. The X-Men would wipe out the Justice League. There was nothing Superman could do against someone like Jean Grey. Should just shatter his mind. She could. Holy shit, man! Like, you guys are done. Like, and that's, like, I don't know. Like, that's what the X-Men always were, but the ideas are too big sometimes. So what's the name of the new show?
There's my point.
The Gifted.
There's my point.
I did one of my solo shows. I couldn't remember the name of the show.
It doesn't matter.
The solo
point
show.
Is to choose X-Men. X-Men the Gifted. Just do that.
Yeah,
That's
I just feel like they would, like, would that take away from you seeing an X-Men movie, getting it for free on television?
It's Star Trek.
Like,
it's like,
dude, that Discovery show is at risk, also, because I saw that Discovery show and I'm kind of like,
it looks fair.
Yeah, it looks okay. It looks
fair to good.
But it didn't make me anticipate a movie at all. Like, it actually worked against me anticipating another Star Trek movie.
I think you're right, because I think that, like, after watching that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be on, and then there's not another Star Trek movie coming.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel that there's not. I don't know. I have a weird feeling that there's just not. Beyond didn't do great.
No, Beyond.
Okay.
You know what Beyond's, I think, problem was? It was a Star Trek episode movie. It wasn't a big enough thing for it to feel like it, and the twist was like a weird twist.
It wasn't much.
But real quick, Star Trek Discovery, is that streaming only? Is that CBS?
They're trying
streaming?
to push people to get their streaming app. they're only showing it streaming for a while. I don't know how long.
Okay, and then eventually paid for service. So I guess this is where I guess this.
I think you have to pay for it immediately. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for that, like Hulu. Subscribe to CW or what?
So this is where all the networks are going to, like.
They're going to test the waters. They're going to put something on there that should have ratings, and they're going to force you to subscribe to it. Like, I'm subscribing to Showtime now. I don't care about Showtime.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And you're doing that for Twin Peaks.
Like, I don't care about it, and I'm going to do a 30-day trial. They have, I think this is 18 episodes, and it's
really Twin Peaks is 18 episodes. Yeah. What?
Yep. And they're releasing them weekly. It's not like you get the whole thing. They're 2 hours tonight.
Yeah.
And then every week it's an hour.
And what's the premise for the Twin Peaks?
I don't know. No one really knows.
Wow.
They have a lot of the cast back. So, like you were saying,
it's still
that
the same
YouTube,
town.
You kept seeing the thing. It's still the same town.
Yeah.
They went to the same locations. It's Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
So it's Kyle MacLachlan. Magdynamic goes back. Dana Ashbrook. So Billy. Like, so there he is, right there. But like most of the people, but a lot of people are dead. Like Log Lady's dead. Bob's dead. Like, there's a ton of people.
Log Lady's dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
depressing.
Can't replace. Even though I think they have Miguel Ferrer he shot his scenes, so he's in it.
Ah, okay.
Because he was one of the agents. So he's an FBI agent. So to close out, to go back, but that's so pushing that to streaming. To close this out, like this is another one where this is an extra Fox. So Fox, what is it? Fox XXX or Fox XX?
Okay, yeah. So
what's up with that?
Yeah, so that was like their offshoot. I think they
put most of their programming on it, right?
Yeah, and I remember that came up with, I think, like Always Sunny and Wilfred were like the two launch shows. When Wilfred, I love Wilfred. I thought that was like a fantastic sitcom. Like
that was
with Elijah Wood. Dude, it's so deep. It's probably like maybe the smartest like comedy that they ever put on the television.
Didn't they have wasn't a British one or an Australian one?
Well, there was a British.
It was the same dog. The guy was
the guy. Yeah, he might have been like, I don't know if that guy's like a writer director or creatively involved, but it was the same guy.
Right.
But it's such a you can't even describe it because that showed like challenges like what it is through the entire run. Meaning that, is he crazy? Is the dog a manifestation? Is the dog
right.
Is the dog?
It's his dog, right?
A god? No, it's his neighbor's dog, which is also, and they work that around too, because he becomes like a dog sitter, and they work in ways for him to be around the dog.
Yeah.
But the dog like unravels.
He likes the girl, right?
Yeah, and Chris Pine, no, not Chris Pine, the Chris from Rollerball and American Pie is like the boyfriend. Chris Klein, yeah, but he's like the alpha male.
Oh, okay.
And the dog like knows
Dusty from
Yeah, Dusty, yeah.
What was that movie?
Well,
not Stuck on You. It was Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart. What the heck was that called? It's not Stuck with You, but
no, not Best Friends.
Or is it Best Friends?
Is it Best Friends?
It might be.
Yeah, but no, but Chris Klein is like this alpha male, but the dog knows he's an idiot. But because he's like an alpha male, the dog does whatever he says, because the dog succumbs to the alpha male.
Right.
Like, and they do these like really cool things. But that show, like, if anyone out there hasn't watched it, if you haven't really gone into it,
I can go get it,
dude. I think it's on Netflix. It's a show that deconstructs like the psyche of like you, meaning that like you can almost like give yourself therapy lessons by watching the show, because the dog's intention is to unravel Elijah Wood. Like, the dog wants Elijah Wood to do the things in life that Frodo wants to do. It's a great show, but yeah. So let's do a rundown of
So I did the FXX.
Yeah, gifted.
So the FXXXX, whatever the heck that is.
Which is weird. Yeah, I thought that would have been
Future
regular
Lando
show. Yeah,
just signed last week. Donald Glover signed with his brother, Stephen Glover, who do Atlanta.
Yeah,
to do a Deadpool animated series.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Which is strange, and I'm like, and that's next year.
And people are really amped about that. So
Right.
why is Donald Glover all of a sudden like a geek?
He always
like-
Atlanta breaks a couple different conventions. Atlanta's very good.
Yeah.
Atlanta's very interesting, and it goes very meta, and it does some things that it doesn't make
Okay.
that so. And then
So he earned a street credit.
but then he got some exposure because they have one of his songs in Get Out, and Get Out's my I talked about it before. It's like my favorite movie this year.
Yeah, it's on. I will
It's
watch
on
it soon.
demand.
It's on.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
I want to watch the they have an alternate ending, and
Yeah.
I know one of the alternate they didn't shoot. I listened to an interview with him this week on I forget who did it, but he talked about another alternate ending that they did not shoot. So that was pretty fascinating.
Oh, okay.
But that's a very cultural. I think that movie's great. But I think that, and then he has his Childish Gambino, so he has a different. That's his alter ego as a musician. Those
Okay.
albums are pretty interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
They're like concept albums. So that closes Fox. ABC. This is another. I'm getting through all the stuff I don't like first, really.
Yeah.
So ABC is going on. It got renewed for season 5. Season 4 is ending. Season 4 ends, and then instead of doing season 5 right away, they have their mid-season, which they had Agent Carter for 2 years, which didn't. The first season was pretty good. The second season, I only watched the first episode of the second season. I didn't care.
I watched a little bit of that. I liked it.
It was
what
pretty
I saw
good.
for Agent
Yeah.
Carter. Yeah.
But then what ended up happening was, so they're in the battle of all the weirdness between like Perlmutter and Kevin Feige, like Inhumans just got somehow back to Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel
yeah.
TV.
They canceled the movie, right?
And now it's going to be now
it's
ABC
like
has
IMAX.
it.
Yeah.
So they're showing the premiere on IMAX. I don't know if they're showing it simulcast or you can just have to go see it and then you go watch the television show. It's very confusing.
I know sometimes in those IMAX theaters they have the live streaming, like for
the Oscars and
concerts
stuff. Yeah.
and boxing events and MMA. I think they
Yes,
do
I
some
don't really
for.
know what they're doing with this,
Yeah.
but I meant to look up the guy who was in the Inhumans, but the guy who's playing like his name's Anson. I forget. I wrote Anson Mount. He's playing Black Bolt, but Black Bolt like his costume's so amazing. It's a Kirby costume.
Yeah.
And they darken the piping. So the piping is he's a black costume and the white piping.
Yeah,
it's like lightning bolts and it's awesome. And then he has a mask with a tuning fork, which he can when he speaks he channels energy through the tuning fork and then basically creates a blast and just blows. And if he just whispers, he blows apart everything.
He cannot talk. I guess like when you and I were like getting up in the world of comics, it was like Human Torch went supernova, I think 2 or 3 times, like during like up in and I think he's gone supernova twice since then. Black Bolt, I don't remember Black Bolt ever using his power, and now it seems like every time I open up a Black Book themed story,
Right.
like he's screaming.
He has a miniseries now. It's happening.
Yeah, I mean, like,
What are you gonna do with that?
he
He's
did
gonna do
that.
something.
Yeah, he did that. The Realm of Kings, he did it against Thanos in Infinity.
Yep.
So I mean, like, they took away that cool part, I think, of him. But yeah, Black Bolt's supposed to be like infinitely powerful.
Yeah, and his evil brother
Yeah.
makes sense because I'm trying to think of the evil guy from the last season of Game of Thrones, but that is he's in it, Ian Rion, which Ewan, I don't know, all those crazy Irish people.
He's
Maximus
in
the
this
Mad.
guy.
So he's the bad guy.
He's creepy.
He's the creepiest.
He is creepy.
He's horrible. But they are doing Lockjaw. But to me, it's like I looked at him and they had the lineup, but it looks like a cosplay lineup. If you look at the main picture that they have up, it's just bad. And the piping is just gray.
Yeah.
And her wig looks so. Medusa just has long hair that she can control. Her hair looks such like a wig. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think for that, did they say that her hair would be
like CGI or something?
Yeah, I thought she would have CGI hair. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now, and it's just like it's flat, it's monochromatic, like
Photoshop it up, man. Like it's like they just like, hey, get in the room, ready, boom, click, let's go, put it out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so weird.
But I always
like Triton, like you have the Jay Lee lineup.
Yeah,
cool. That's the Jay Lee. That's the cover number 1.
Yeah, it is.
And
yeah,
they don't. but it's just not exciting. And this guy,
you're right.
Like,
it is the cover for number 1.
Yeah, and it looks like the guy. I mean, Blackwell looks like he's pooping.
Dude, why? That is so funny. They duplicated. They copied that.
That's fine. Do that.
I know. But
the pro on this is that it's short. It's I think 8 episodes, so that works. Agents of Shield, I know people still like, but my problem with Agents of Shield from the beginning, from the very very beginning, was basically that they just created like 8 characters right away. It was like the Firefly effect.
Yeah,
they were like, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's like a bunch of characters. You should like all of them right now. And I'm like, well, I don't know any of them. And they already have a gigantic amount of people they could have made Shield agents. Like you had that were like Clay Quartermain. Like you had people. You have Vanessa. Like you had a ton of agents. And then I think because no one liked it, they just backed it in. They're just like, you know what? Make that girl that's over there. Just make her Daisy Johnson. She's going to be Quake. And I'm like, no. Like that was not. Like they just backwards it in. And I'm like, no, that's not. That was never supposed to be. I don't think. But they act like it was supposed to be that the whole time. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah,
no friggin' way.
And Shield also too was like this. I think someone that is like, all right, like would people? Is this an idea that would excite someone to invest an hour every week? They aren't like Shield just doesn't. Like I don't know, like what's the alternative? It'd be like a straight up Cloak and Dagger television show, or is it like a paranormal like Monster of the Week type show? And to me, like I can see people getting excited for Inhumans because it's a tangible, quick idea. Shield's not. Shield's just like, all right, like like spy stories, it like went the way of like the Western. They don't resonate the way that they used to. Mm-hmm. Like they kind of evolved into something else. Spy stories are more action driven. Mm-hmm. Even like the James Bond movies are more like just straight up big set piece action. And I don't know. Like to me, Agent of Shields failed from the very start.
Yeah, that was just gone. But I know people that still does it. And then they tried to theme it. Then they did Ghost Rider this season.
Yeah,
and they committed to a point. I watched those clips online. I didn't watch because when I tried to watch a whole episode, I was just like, well, there's like a great 10 minutes I could just probably watch on YouTube tomorrow.
Yeah,
because the Ghost Rider stuff was good.
Someone did like a montage breakdown. Might have been Emergency Awesome on YouTube. He did like a breakdown on how the Ghost Rider season ended and showed you like everything. And like I think it looks like the dude looks like awesome. I think the actor is like so, but the transformed version. And then I guess they link it to Doctor Strange at the end because
they have the Darkhold.
Yeah, and then they have the like the circle portal thing. Like it looks the same in the movie. Like he opens the portal, he goes into the dark world or whatever. But the
circle-y thing.
Yeah, like
the
spinning sparky thing. I don't know what it's called.
The sling ring thing?
The sling ring,
yeah.
They had like a sling ring.
That's the best non-comic comic thing.
Yeah.
Like, what's funny? Like, I remember when Wanted came out, and then they had a weird concept in it, and then people were like, oh, I like that. Now, it's such a comic book thing. I'm like, that actually wasn't in the comic book. Like, the Loom.
Yeah,
the Loom of Fates. And I was like, oh, that's a great comic book concept. That's actually not in the comic, but I like it a little more.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's cool.
Well,
but that's a similar thing to that. Yeah,
it's a sling ring.
Sling ring.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. So I would say, okay, so if I give Fox a grade, I give them a D. If we just give like the network a grade, I'll give ABC D still.
Okay.
So Netflix, I'll give like a Netflix across the board. I give like just a B.
A straight up B.
All the way.
Because of Iron Fist.
If you go I just ran it down. So like Daredevil season 1 B+, Daredevil season 2 B-, because it lags in the middle. Jessica Jones B-, a little too long. All the ones all the complaints I have with those, they're just too long. Just do 8s. Like do 10s.
Yeah, I don't like. You know what it is though? I think when it comes to like, because I did see some of this with Iron Fist. Even though like Iron Fist, like you can kind of see it better when it's not done well. Mm-hmm. Like when things are done well, it's hard to spot what's happening.
Well, I say Cage. Like to me, I gave Cage a B+ because I think tonally and atmosphere-wise, it looked so good, and they just were so committed.
Yeah.
And I mean, once the I'm not gonna say look, it's been out, so yeah, people die. But like once the first villain dies in Cage, like the next villain was just not important. Like the next villain, I was like, I don't care.
Well, you know what it is? Like you didn't know. You thought the guy with the shades was going to. I thought
he's going to be bigger next.
I thought he was going to have a superpower. Like, right. Like you know, because like he comes in and he's like this like man of action, and you're like, okay, he has that attitude because he can do something, which is always like the thing. But not like I would say like Cage and Jessica Jones had like captured my interest more. Like kind of like because of that atmosphere, because of like,
I think the way it was filmed, and I think the way that they definitely had, and I think once you got to Iron Fist, there was just kind of lack of style, and then it didn't get there until like episode 8. Like I get pretty much 1 to 8 like a D.
Oh, you know, like
but then 9 to 13, I give like a B+.
We talked about this because I think like somebody talked about Iron Fist.
I think I stalled on it.
Yeah, like you watched it. Yeah, so when they killed like. The genius part of Iron Fist was that they split the hand. Mm-hmm. So now the hand is like there's like maybe like a civil war, right? Is it, or there's like two separate fractions, but the fractions are both like evil. There's no like good fraction, and when they killed the one guy, like in the rain, and it didn't even involve Iron Fist, it involved the other girl. Like that was like, but the thing is, it was so telegraphed that his body was going to disappear.
Right.
That whole scene, I'm just like, oh, they're talking. They're gonna turn around. He's not going to be there.
Is it?
Yeah, but I thought that picked up, maybe like episode like 8, 9, like 8 up, maybe like 7 up.
Pretty much. I think the episode that the RZA directed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was
great.
Yeah.
Because that's what it should be. It should be him fighting weird other things, and if they do like the I'm trying to think what the mortal weapons, like if they do those, like I was just like, oh, just do it, like just go ahead, like go ahead. Well, and I thought they were going with that because they were like, this girl like she was like the queen of spiders, and the next guy was like the drunken master, like, and I was like, this is great, like so crazy.
Yeah, the drunken master guy too was so fun. Cool. Yeah, but well,
we're close. Defenders is next month. Or
the Defenders. Would we even discuss that at all? Like, what was your takeaway from the trailer?
I think that the thing is, first off, I think Iron Fist is going to get better. I think they know it.
Yeah.
I think he's going to work well in that team.
I think he's
going to be like a weirdo.
I think Iron Fist had the best cliffhanger outside of Daredevil season 1.
Season 1.
Because, dude, like, I'm almost like, yo, like, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Like what the heck? Like and then like it was all happening while he was stateside, abandoning the reason of his existence. Like,
right.
It's just, dude, that final like couple minutes was, I thought it was.
I think it's pretty great.
A masterstroke. I really.
That's where it really. That's the best. That's the best ending. Like I think that's the best ending.
Yeah. But so back to
Defenders is 8 episodes. Great.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's 8 episodes. It's August 18th. But to me, like more than having the 4 together, that's fine. I'm actually really interested in seeing how, like the one thing that is fascinating with all of these, is every character that has come out, like the side characters. So Claire Temple, you have I just the blank who's the DJ? I forget her name. She was on Jessica Jones. She was the
I don't know that girl's name.
Yeah, I forget her name. But
yeah.
And I should because she's a comic character.
Attractive chick.
Jessica, it's not Jessica Drew, but I don't know.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But then you have Claire Temple, you have Colleen Wing from Iron Fist, which she's the best part of Iron Fist to a certain level.
Yeah.
And Misty Knight is fantastic in Cage, and they're all together.
Wow.
They're all in it too.
Wow.
So I'm just like, okay. So they have like full lineup heroes for hire defenders, like the full like lineup, and then Sigourney Weaver is going to be probably Mephisto. That's like the rumor that she's going to probably be Mephisto.
Wow.
Which is a fine. I don't care about that. Like I'm not going to be like,
why would she have to be Mephisto though?
I think it would be kind of, I don't know. That's
because the Hand resurrects the dead and Mephisto's. Okay.
I'm fine with it. Like I don't care, but to me that could really kind of work because she could just be like,
is it?
evil.
It sounds like Suicide Squad. Now you have like like a girl with a baseball bat going up against the Enchantress that's opening up a portal and destroying.
Yeah, but Daredevil fought he went to
but
he
it's
fought
different.
Mephisto.
But it's
and,
different. What? Yeah. You're the John Romita Jr. run.
Oh yeah.
Blackheart and all of that.
Yeah.
I kind of watched that for my.
I like that, all that and Innocenti stuff.
No,
That stuff's pretty great.
It was awesome, but like when they do that, it's like where you like, it's so hard to return the character back to center when they.
Daredevil does it all the time. Though.
Yeah,
Daredevil's the king of like going, like way out, and then it's like boom. They actually had an issue. I think I told you that they had an issue. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago where he was in his brain very like Peter David-esque.
Yeah. You started to tell me about.
And they had, and he was in a room with every Daredevil. And one of them was like the Scott McDaniel, and he's like, at this time I was a little more extreme, and I was like, yes, like you know,
I was
a
little bit more.
And I thought it was kind of cheesy, but I was like, this is still kind of great because he has been. Then at one point he was in like a suit, and he was out, and then he was just like in a regular suit in San Francisco, like just a suit, like a 3-piece suit with a vest, and just like glasses, and he was just fighting crime, like that was it. So I mean, it was cool. Just so the biggie here, this is kind of the big spot is CW. So CW is the big one.
Yeah, that's the elephant in the room.
And like as for grades for me, I think, and we were kind of trying to talk about like what works and what doesn't work. So you were never a big Flash fan. You can't do it.
Yeah,
you tried a bunch of times.
Yeah, I have. I tried from episode 1. I kind of I like some of the stuff I saw from Green Arrow. Mm-hmm. Like because Green Arrow is just seems like harder, grittier, realistic. Doesn't seem like Batman. Monster of the week.
It became different. It was Batman. It was basically just Batman on TV.
Yeah.
The season 1 is Batman.
But he always
he is Batman. He's Batman with political views. He's liberal.
Yeah, Batman. But that's the whole thing. Oh wait, I wanted to talk to you about this during the pregame. I kept forgetting, but we're going to tease. We may not get to it tonight, but very soon. I had this thought about Batman. I just wanted to run, and we'll tease. We wanted to talk about the button, the DC Rebirth, the button.
Everyone's favorite villain.
Yeah. So
a button.
So in this we have the Flash on a I don't know, Speed Force, dimension shattering, time shattering, treadmill.
The cosmic treadmill.
Yeah. Okay. So we have, which is fine because we're reading a comic.
That's 60s.
Okay.
60s.
But then we have the Dark Knight holding on to this via rope.
He's got a special Batman rope.
Yeah. Okay.
To just hang on to it.
And I get it, but it's like, what are we doing, and why can't we? Since there's nothing sacred, we discussed that. If there's really nothing sacred anymore in comics, why can't we just have a superpowered Batman? So it would make sense that he's with the Justice League, that he's not holding on to a piece of rope while the Flash literally runs through time and dimensions. Like, why can't we power him up so he fits better? Would that take away, like...
Yeah, well, he's the best Marvel character ever created in DC. I always still argue with, remember, Batman was created to be the antithesis of Superman, was to be the opposite, where they were like, this is doing really well. Hey, Bob Kane, do something. Yeah. And then Bob Kane was like, hey, Bullfinger, can you make this up for me? And then that was it. You know what I mean? So, and then I'll take the credit and all that. Yeah. So I'm in the opposite camp for that one versus the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby camp.
Because we're all here because of Bob Kane. If Bob Kane didn't create the Dark Knight, the most popular, best comic book character ever, that culturalized comic books, since '89, we wouldn't be here.
That's true. Yeah.
Thank you, Bob Kane, as we should thank Stan Lee. See, now doesn't that sound ridiculous?
Thank you.
That sounds absurd. Thank you for stealing from a guy that gave you his blood, sweat, and tears, Bob Kane. You asshole.
Yeah, if anyone wants to cry a lot, they can watch the. I think it's on Hulu, but Batman and Bill is a good hour and a half documentary that I thought was gonna. When it first started, I was like, I'm not gonna watch this for an hour and a half, and then it was over, and I was like, okay, because you know how hard it is for us to watch stuff. We just if it doesn't grab us, we're like, I'm out.
Well, it is, but it's for us for that subject matter. Like, dude, it's hard for me to watch anything because like you might like pick up one or two things you don't know,
right?
In like a 90-minute documentary, and like I think that might be mine,
right? But we pretty much know everything.
Here. It's your birthday.
Is that your pizza?
My phone just updated me.
There you go.
You got business mark birthday.
Wow. How do you have it in there? That's interesting.
I don't know. My phone's intelligent. Well, hey, happy birthday.
That's my birthday.
You're 24 years old.
No.
24 young.
Nope.
Times
two plus.
You've only had 3 beers in your young age.
Yeah, I'm doing good. That was it. I just started drinking.
Fondled some boobies for the first time the other night.
Today.
Lucky you. Got the first boobala grab.
That's right. The second base?
But no. But it's so like real quick though. So the whole point I was getting at is like why can't
you want a superpower Batman?
Yeah. Why can't you just power him up?
No.
And it doesn't. It wouldn't take away from anything. Like it really. He would be the same character. He could still go on the same journey, and he could.
I think that's why we like Batman. Though we like Batman because it's us.
That's what people say, but is that true?
Not really. We can't. We don't have millions.
People
of
just
dollars.
say that.
Well, that's the one thing that's the throwaway with the Batman the Justice League trailer, which I still don't love. And then they're like, "What's your superpower again?" He's like, "I'm rich," and I'm like, "That's not."
Yeah,
like
that's what I mean. Why can't he
very
be
smug?
What they can give him? They can look. If you're going to kill Superman in the second movie of his cinematic revival, if you're going to bring back Jason Todd, if you're going to bring back Bucky Barnes, where that actually becomes now lore, like that's your second Captain America movie. You don't do Mad Bomb, you don't do any of these little gems that he did have.
Streets of Poison.
Yeah,
I love Streets of Poison.
Yeah, but like. There's the button, everything with the Watchmen. There's nothing sacred, right? There's nothing sacred. Why can't
I like the button? Fine.
Look, they've destroyed Superman. They've destroyed the character.
Yeah, but I mean,
dude, what is it now? It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Superman anymore. You can't do that to the Dark Knight. You can't just give him something so when he's in the lineup, he's not the guy that if Darkseid like blinks towards isn't the first to die. Like,
right, but he'll just fall through time and then I'll
give him something.
Relive multiple lives and then he'll come back.
I don't know what they could do, but they could power him up so that he can stand even next to Aquaman. Which even Aquaman overpowers Batman. And I don't care about the intellect conversation or Tower of Babel and all that crap. I don't freaking care. It makes no sense. These people, if they're more powerful, even Wonder Woman, they come from an advanced society. Cyborg is a human computer. Superman can read a library in 2 minutes. Okay? The Flash can read a library. Right? I mean, like, intellectually, he's nothing compared to these guys. It's a made-up thing. And it still never sticks. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. It just pisses me off. What if if they Iron Man'd him and gave him a super suit? Something that he would be able to...
Well, they did that with, like, The Dark Knight, a bit, and...
yes, they did. And they could, if they went that route. If they went that route, but it doesn't even seem like...
It only works when it's gray, and it's, like, the symbol, and it's slim, and that's it. Like, to me, that just works. Like, that's why, like, the cinematic Batman, technically... And that's why, like, I immediately reject the weird goggles he has on in the next movie. I'm like, no, like, that's not Batman. Like, I reject it.
Yeah.
Just be Bruce. Just be the Batman, the texture Batman.
How are you going to kill a parademon? You can't. He couldn't even kill parademons in that made-up dream fantasy thing from BVS. He couldn't even do that. He kills
Grim.
He kills a couple of the normal guys. Fine. Mm-hmm. Man versus man. Batman wins. As soon as the supernatural weird demon stuff from Apocalypse comes in, they beat the shit out of him. He can't even fight a parademon. He can't do it. What are you going to do against Darkseid? You're not going to do anything. Steppenwolf is going to be your stepchild.
I don't care about that. Can you imagine that's the friggin' villain? Come on. That's the best they could do.
Do you think they have an angle for that? Like, you kind of... I hope that they do.
I guess they just don't want to reveal, like, I think with the Wonder Woman stuff coming up, too, like, they just don't want to reveal, like, Ares, like, just show it, like, just show that she's fighting with Ares. But she's just going to fight, and then I don't even know if that's going to look alright, I don't know. Alright, well, alright, so you know Flash, so Flash is on season...
But you like Flash.
3. They have one, I mean, the season 2, like, has a sophomore slump, like, the first season I basically give an A, because I just think it was a pretty tight season.
Yeah.
They what they do is they do a mid-season finale, so they'll do, like, a 12... and then have a cliffhanger and a little break and like a 3 to 5 week break and then come back. So Flash does that for season 1, season 2, and then this one, who is Savitar, they reveal who Savitar is, and then they basically tell you
crazy cool. Though. I saw pictures.
Yeah, but this whole season was interesting because I don't know who, like, the Savitar they're doing is different than Savitar than the books. But to me, like, when I watched the show, I was over my dad's listening. I was telling him, I was like, the real villain of this whole show is Barry Allen, because he went back and made a Flashpoint and then changed the future pretty dramatically. But then in this one, because he wants to try to save Iris, because Savitar kills Iris.
Yeah.
Non-spoiler. That's in like the first episode. This thing happens, and then they basically has a dream sequence that this happens, and then they go forward in time to see if that happens. And then it happens, and they keep going forward throughout the whole like every couple episodes. Like, we're just gonna go to the future and see if that really happened again. They keep trying to change it. Then they realize that someone in the farther future becomes a scientist. And this is where it gets very Back to the Future rules.
Yeah.
And they get this girl, and then they like, we need to find her. So they find her. She's a bad scientist now, and they go, hey, by the way, like, and this was, and like, you create this thing, and we'll give you, we have, come to my science lab, and we'll figure out, and this is, and then they show her like her resume. And she's like, wait, I do that, and I do that, and do that. Like, you're not allowed to know that. Like, you're not allowed to know. Like, you're creating now another timeline.
Yeah.
By telling you too much about that person's future. So that, I go back to, like, paradox rules.
That's like, but that's where it's, like, branching. And believe it or not, even Back to the Future branches. Because in the first, Norm and I were discussing this. In the first 10 minutes, that's a branch of that timeline where Biff did rape the mother. Okay, the father didn't defend the mother. Okay, but they still have the dance, they still have the kiss. The mother's remorseful of the marriage and the position she's in. You can tell just by her demeanor, drinking the alcohol during dinner, like all of it. Okay, and Biff's reference to say hello to your mother for me. See, he doesn't pursue her anymore because he raped her. So in the beginning of Back to the Future, that is a raped branch.
But what happens at the end of that future when he gets there? His parents are good and the dad's dominant.
Because Marty interfered. Marty was the one that fell out of the tree while he was doing the peeping Tom.
Right.
He interrupted the timeline and further interrupted it by having him punch Biff out. Okay, and then now Biff becomes subservient to Marty because Biff loses his mojo. Okay, in the future now, Marty, the father writes the book. Marty, at one point, like, I always thought he was supposed to become a rock star because he didn't have the confidence in the original timeline to become the rock star. That never happened, which was like a little bit weird.
Right.
But
because Huey Lewis didn't sign off. So it's all the power of love.
Yeah. But and real quick though, like, they erased the chicken hook. See, the McFlys can't be called chicken.
Yep.
Okay, which you later saw the origin of in the third movie.
Right.
Okay, but Back to the Future.
What is that? How was that? Was that even back then? Was that even a thing?
No, dude, they were spitballing.
They were like, we love this chicken thing.
Yeah.
And back in the 1860s, that's a thing. You're like,
huh?
Like, I don't know if that's...
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I wonder how that works.
And it's like...
To look up the origin of... Look it up.
Yeah, calling people... But
calling people chicken started... this movie's bullshit.
Started in Hill Valley in the 1800s. But yeah, so, like, Back to the Future is, like, very interesting when it comes to that. I think when it comes into, like, anything to do with time travel, like, I think the Terminator movies also subscribe to it, where look, I like Salvation. I really do. Like
No.
I like that movie a lot because it does that. So like this is not, it's not connected to anything. This is a separate. It's like a separate thread even before that movie starts because it like they bring down Skynet, but then again at the same time the machine sending the T-800 back creates the flow of events that defeats Skynet. So the machines should never send back the T-1800. They should just defend.
John Connor would never have been born.
Yeah,
if Michael Biehn didn't get sent back, and Kyle Reese didn't get sent back anyway.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing, and you're almost like, wow, the machines like demise themselves in a very effective way, and the thing is though I think Salvation deconstructs that to where like we know that like the beginning of Terminal Salvation is the end of that. Okay, and when you go back to like the 1980s in Salvation, that's a whole new thread now, period. So you could do anything, and I thought it brought the franchise like back to zero. I don't think they explained it too well, but I don't know, man. I love some of the design work in that movie.
Yeah, I forget. There was a couple people. I think some comic people worked on that stuff. Actually, I'm trying to remember who worked. on
Well, I should look that up because I think the design work for the John Connor T-3000 is, dude, it reminds me so much of a Silvestri cyborg. Like, how it's just kind of like, I don't know, man, it just reminds me of, like, Top Cow work. And even, like, some of the posters, like, it was all orange glow. All, like, like early Michael Finch.
Stryker.
David Finch,
how did
Cyberforce
how did
covers.
Stryker stand up if he had three, like, metal arms on one side?
Well, okay. Well, he's part cyborg. I would think that
Is it like the
it could
left
compensate.
leg?
Yeah, it could compensate. But dude, Stryker was such a. But like that's the idea, though. Like
three arms.
But the whole idea with that is like, who the hell cares? It's a comic book.
Right.
Like it looks fantastic. Even like Ripclaw, like how does Ripclaw like touch anything?
He's an American Indian.
Yeah.
Wolverine, basically.
Well, yeah, and then there was Ripclaw and then Warblade from.
Right. And then they had the crossover, and they were fighting each other. Some good art in that shit, though.
Dude, crossover was hotness. It was Silvestri. Here, side. Okay, oh my God,
we're like
we're really bad. Yeah, we're really bad. All right, so I've been going through like some stuff. So I came across a bunch of Silvestri early work, like some of the work he did for X Factor, which I kind of forgot about. Okay, when him and his like earlier phases, like they said it in the Image Comics documentary that they all looked up to Silvestri and they thought Silvestri was like the bomb, like all of them. Dude, pound for pound, he's the best draftsman. Like he's the best of all of them. Because he, composition, panel flow, the best expressions outside McFarlane's super cartoony expressions, but he's the only one of all of them that actually landed expressions. And by the time he got into Image, his style became like boiled down and like oddly perfect. But his earlier work was like the shades of like Jim Lee, but he came before Jim Lee. Which is kind of like funny, you know, and it's almost like he was like a Jim Lee that could draw like solid expressions, you know.
Well, when I look at it and like studying, comic art forever, like he came from like a John Buscema school, whereas like I just looked at a Hulk comic, and when I look at that Hulk comic, and it was a John Byrne Hulk comic.
Yeah.
However,
underrated Hulk rendering, by the way.
Hulk proportions. I agree with that, but I think when you look at that Hulk stuff, how much Dale Keown came out of that.
Yes.
But you don't think Dale Keown has any influence. He completely is influenced by Byrne.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is like, when you look at Brian Hitch started, and he was a Alan Davis knockoff. Like, you were like, oh, this is no,
dude,
what are you doing?
Dude, 100% knockoff. Like, you couldn't, if you lined up some panels, like, and compared them.
Yeah, he took some swipes there. Like, he probably took some, inadvertently, but, he ended up doing that. But a lot of those guys, like, that's kind of where things came from, and then they developed into their own style. But, yeah, I would say Silvestri, he had he had a lot of influence back then. It's interesting.
And then he became more of a he almost became more of a fantasy driven like artist, to where like his paneling became twin, became like more abstract and artistic, and
then he just wanted to run studios. So then he just wanted to and that's what he did. Like,
so,
he doesn't draw.
Is Top Cow like the most? Like I realized Wildstorm got bought out or whatever, but Wildstorm never cranked out good work.
Not really.
But like Top Cow
left
has
though.
stuff, though.
I think Top Cow still is that somehow it's still
separate.
somewhat slightly fractured from the Marvel from Image
the schism.
Complete.
From the Rob Liefeld break,
because they had a couple things when they went away completely for a couple months, but then they came right back.
Yeah,
I still think that they're like segmented, and they recontracted back to Image.
Yeah, well, I think that's a little bit of even like the Rob Liefeld current agreement, because like the people don't realize that the Liefeld studio rights got sold like 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how they all ended up with Awesome, and then Awesome sank.
Right.
Like it wasn't supposedly it wasn't Liefeld's fault. It was like all finance, and then like what happens with those rights? And I think somehow like Image got involved with getting the rights back that Liefeld had, but it's not the same as in the 90s. So, but I don't know. Like, so that's that. So tell me more about television.
Okay,
that's what.
So like kind of to sum up, Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, even iZombie, which is still in.
Yeah, how is that, by the way?
The first 2 seasons are really good, but see this is what happens, and I just realized this when the penultimate episode came out for Supergirl. Cat Grant shows back up, and that's Calista Flockhart. Okay.
Okay.
Now she is, and I didn't know about this. I watched some YouTube something. It was about story structure, and do you know what you ever hear the expression hanging a lantern? You know what that is?
No.
So that story expression means something absurd is happening, and then a character goes, "What? This is absurd," and then the Age of Ultron where Hawkeye's like, "Okay, I shoot a bow and arrow.
Right.
You throw magic around. None of this makes any sense."
Yeah.
That will ground the movie or ground whatever you're watching.
Okay.
And then you buy weird plausible shit.
Right. Yeah.
Every single, I pretty much single out all of these is everyone join the team. So even Arrow is doing their thing, and then everyone's Oliver Queen's sister's like, "What? You're an archer? Now she's an archer." Then everyone's like, "Hey, what? That's a what?" Now they're everyone on Arrow is a superhero. Everyone. Except for Felicity. And but everyone. They have it's pretty much like a little team, right? They have Mr. Terrific, they have Wild Dog, they have
Wild Dogs on that show?
Yeah. So they have
That's awesome. I love Wild Dog.
They have Ragman, they have
what?
Yeah, so they have and Ragman kind of worked, it kind of worked.
Well, Ragman's a great thing.
Yeah.
Ragman could be on any show, he could have his own film series.
But Flash did the same thing, where everyone supports this thing and not be like, "This is absurd. You run real fast." They lose the character, and then when Calista Flockhart shows back up. So, but I want to say that the way CW kind of works is they use the nostalgia engine a little bit, and they use people.
But so.
I think it's effective when they do it.
Yeah,
completely.
Well, is it really nostalgia engine when it's Wild Dog and
No, I mean the casting. So Flash.
Oh, I see.
Flash's dad is original Flash.
No,
you know what I mean?
That
works.
See, I call that something different. I think we talked about this, where it's essentially you're just repeating roles. You're recasting things that people are already associated with that. Michelle Rodriguez, endlessly ending up in action movies and science fiction movies, or Mila Jovovich ending up in Resident Evil. It's the same type of role as Fifth Element, and Fifth Element kind of had a cult thing at the time. You're taking these notes, and you're we talked about it. We actually had another discussion about this. I forget exactly how I phrased it, but it is typecasting. It is we linked it to something else. We had a brain on it, but it's I think it's highly effective though. For example, the dude that plays the Joker in the Gotham show, or the redheaded dude. Like I don't know if he's like the Joker or not. I just see like stuff for it.
I like that he's probably not, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but see, like that dude could show up in like a Spider-Man, like he could show up in the new Venom movie as the Carnage guy.
Right.
And it's like, like Carnage is the Joker version of Venom. Yeah, right. Like, and it makes perfect. Like, you kind of buy into it from a casting standpoint first, like on visual level, and you relate it. And I think it works.
Well, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's Optimus Prime's voice. It has to be Peter Cullen. Like, it has to do that.
I agree, yeah.
So, to me, they do a good job on that. Like, Arrow, they didn't have a whole lot of people, but with Flash, they did it with the
I kind of want to watch Arrow now. You're just telling me all that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, well, I'd say season 4... Right now, season 5 is about to wrap up, but season 4, like, it got good again. I'd say season 3 kind of stopped. 5 seasons. And it's pretty much guaranteed for 6. He's going to be on American Ninja Warrior next week, and he showed some of that clips.
Like, he's done that. He did wrestling. He did WWE. Like, I think he's
just a very good fitness. Like he does all the parkour, and he does pretty much everything. He's been doing that, and that's the thing.
But he does a lot of what athletes do. Where they build a career outside their career. Like, they start investing, they become producers for TV, like LeBron James is a great example. But then they, like, also, like, dabble in broadcasting. And they're almost a sports journalist by the time they're retired.
Yeah, he's building something.
Yeah, he's like
he can host a show or something.
He can. I think what he could do what Chris Hardwick does on Twitch. Like, and Hardwick... Twitch is like 24/7 and makes like thousands of dollars like an hour. It's amazing what Chris Hardwick has had. Wait, not Chris Hardwick. Kevin Pereira from Attack of the Show. Okay. His Twitch is like.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know where he went.
It's phenomenal. That's it. He Twitches like he has a studio like you wouldn't believe. It's like 3 times the size of this, and they do live music. They do games. It's almost like my vision for here. But he's like doing it in like a scale I could not even imagine. But that's a new economy though, and I think that's a little bit what he's doing. Like
good on him, man.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So
this Duncan, like for Supergirl, for example, they have, Terry Hatcher is Mon-El's mom, and the Kevin Sorbo.
Terry Hatcher's in Supergirl.
Yeah,
dude. What the fuck?
I would say watch Supergirl season 2. Like, you don't even need 1.
You said Supergirl 2 was good.
As soon as it goes over, it's pretty much great off the bat.
I can't believe Terry Hatcher. I thought, God bless her. I thought she was.
No, they had Supergirl's adoptive parents. Is Dean Cain and Helen Slater. So the original Supergirl is Supergirl's mom, like adoptive mom.
What?
And she's Dr. whatever. I forget her name.
You know what? I take it back.
So the president
is the nostalgia engine.
Yeah, well, the president,
it really is.
The president on Supergirl, the president of the Arrowverse, United States, is Linda Carter. It's Wonder Woman. Like, and the most recent episode had, and they were all on the screen at the same time. I don't think they were acting against each other just because Terry Hatcher was in a spaceship, but you had Calista Flockhart next to Linda Carter. Next to Supergirl, so she's like the new generation.
Yeah.
So you have 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 different generations. So like, Ally McBeal was like a generational thing. Yeah. But then you have Linda Carter, so that's 70s, like 90s.
So they're like.
And then you have Terry Hatcher, which is kind of 90s and 2000s with.
So how well are all of the shows and the legacies within the shows weave together?
I think they're good. Coherent? Yeah, I think it's good. Supergirl's really good. Supergirl, the first 2 episodes of the season 2. Had Superman, and, the dude was great.
Yeah, how did they explain Superman in the Arrowverse?
So Superman.
Yeah.
She was older when she left Krypton, so she knew Krypton she was like 7 years old.
Okay.
Which
is fine, yeah.
But when Krypton exploded, he got to Earth first. And then she went through something a little different, and then she got there, and she's still younger than him.
Yeah,
because
that's fine.
Time traveled. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's comic books, right? But when she gets there, she was sent there to protect him. That's the course coordinates was to go protect him.
But he got there first,
and then he is Superman when she shows up, basically. Sort of. I think that's right.
Okay. Then where is he? Like, so do they reference like
she hides her powers? So the first season, first episode, first season. she's hiding her powers, and then just like always, just like the there's a plane crash. And you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Like, it always works, and there was a plane crash.
Works if you're Tom Cruise also.
There's and he has those weird ass screams. I can't wait for the movie to come out to not see that shit anymore. So like, but there was in this episode, Cat Grant like she's on Air Force One.
Yeah.
They get shot down. She falls out. So Glissfucker like falls out. You're like, holy crap! And then Supergirl saves her. It's still great. Like, it's like, okay. Like, I'll never get tired of people falling out of airplanes and catching them.
Yeah. Well, no.
Not so much the Iron Man 3 one where everything was kind of, like, stupid, but, like...
You know what? I was going to say, like, but that's, like, if you're going to do something different...
I guess.
Like you know, right? Like, I don't know. I don't think that was... I think the human chain, like, towards the end of that sequence. But then again, he gets hit by the... They had a good reveal at the end of that. Yeah. He gets hit by the truck, and it's a drone... armor.
Yeah. So the misfire. So CW, here's the misfire. So the misfires are like iZombie season 3. There's no hanging lantern. Almost everyone is a zombie. There's like a bunch of people extra in the show, and they're all zombies now.
Okay.
So like that, everyone knowing about it, like that doesn't work. So season 3 is a little off the rails. Legends of Tomorrow was only supposed to be, I think, 6 episodes originally, but then it got extended, and then it was always supposed to rotate and be a weird rotating cast, and then it didn't. And so now they just basically have. And then a couple people get different acting gigs, and then they leave. So, for example, like, Captain Cold was in the original lineup, so you could watch it because you're like, oh, cool, I like this. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome. Like, he's great. Like, what's his name, Wellington something? He's great in the show.
Yeah.
And Mick Rory is, like, good, but he's only good because he's a foil to him.
Is it the...
It's too much.
Is it the Jeff Johns Captain Cold?
Pretty much. He's just a little more because he's kind of he does some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's pretty much that characterization, but he does some weird type of voice chewy thing. He does this like he chooses scenery so much.
Okay.
but he in the first season he dies because he had a bunch of commitments. He went to go do other stuff.
Yeah.
Because he got popular on the show. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So they can't keep him in the second season, but immediately the second season starts and no one is that compelling. They're all side characters from Arrow and Flash.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they were thinking. They just couldn't hold it. And it just season 2 only had one episode that was good, and that was when they went back to 1940s and they met the Justice Society.
Okay.
And then Commander Steel went with them. And then a future Vixen, like they met, like no, was she Golden Age Vixen? Like it made no sense. They had like a Golden Age Vixen, and then she went on the ship too.
Okay.
But the ship, the Wave Rider and the Time Master being Rip Hunter, it's very Guardians. The ship's it's very Guardians of the Galaxy. They're a ragtag group. You know what I mean? I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean.
And then the upcoming is, and this doesn't come out until next year, so they have the trailer out really early. It's May. But did you watch the Black Lightning trailer?
Yes.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I think
it's a big no for me.
Yeah, you know what it is though. I like everything.
That is not in the Arrowverse. That is not in. They actually call the DCU on CW the Arrowverse. That's the way they refer to it.
Well, okay, yeah, give it to
whatever.
Them. Yeah. Black Lightning just seemed like it was Luke Cage. Like it just came off as Luke Cage, but I still liked what I saw outside of his.
Awesome, so bad.
Yeah, like that, and it just seemed like you can do things. Like you can do things. You can. It's the same argument that we were discussing with Black Bolt. Mm-hmm. Like you can have options. You can do things. Like does Black Lightning suit have to light up? Like does it have to light up?
I'm confused by the whole thing because they make it almost seem like the show that he created this costume and the costume does it. Yeah. And then his kids have these powers.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, why did they miss...
2 kids have powers. He has 2 daughters.
Yeah, I was discussing this on one of my solo shows. Yeah, Mark's going to continue to get drunk. Mark's doing this completely wasted, too.
I'm doing fine. You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm drinking mine.
You're fine
slow.
with family. You're fine.
Dude, I just realized my alarm goes off in 4 hours.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
What is it? What time?
It's 12.
That's all right. It's my birthday. Word.
25th birthday.
Nope.
Cheers. For your 25th birthday. But not really. You're actually 40.
Too much cake.
You're 40. How's it feel? You hit 40.
You know, it was good.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Because I had this conversation the other day at work because like I'm in a weird spot where like it's not like I'm not like back in my day, so I'm not super old, but I'm also not like a weirdo millennial either. You know, like I'm like the good Gen X man. Like I'm in it. I think it's good. R.I.P. Chris Cornell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chris. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I saw it in the morning. You know what? I don't think they ever never got enough credit because they were the first one to sign pre Nirvana.
Yeah, they're like 3, right? It's always Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and then to me it's like I would put them above Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah,
but
and above like Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah,
like, those were like the
those,
the main core.
Yeah,
it was Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
And then, but
you were a Nirvana or Pearl Jam person. But then I think more like heavier people, if people like Slayer, people like heavier stuff, they like Soundgarden more.
Well, yeah, it's but it's also like him as a talent. Again, like he did one of the best James Bond songs with "You Know My Name" for Casino Royale. Audio Slave, like during that fad where everything was Velvet Revolver, Tinted Windows. Those like super bands coming up. But yeah, I mean, look, I kind of feel a lot about it the same as I did with Carrie Fisher, which is kind of like there's a little bit of a good riddance. Like, and I know that's unpopular, but Carrie Fisher, like, obviously abused the shit out of her body, didn't appreciate, like, the life that she had.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And, like, fuck you for, like, checking out, dude. Like, if you with, like, you know, basically coming in as, like, the second or third guy from this very respectable chain that you're a part of, okay? Like, the 90s grunge movement, doing amazing solo work. Okay, nominated for an Oscar, right? Like, okay, okay, like you're married, you're still good looking. Like, if you commit suicide, what hope do I have? Like, what, like
it just performed like it was the like
dude,
you know it was just kind of nuts.
And
that's the thing. See, with those shows, to me, like now seeing shows with those type of bands. That's super fans. So like to me, like that's I think that they're better than we have one popular song on the radio and a bunch of people extra are at our show. The shows that they're doing now are more relevant because there are going to be people that like really love them. That's better to me, in my opinion. A smaller venue, like that's going to be more concentrated, and I love them.
Yeah, I mean, like look, I mean, how many? What did Audio Slave do? 3 albums or 2?
I think only 2.
Okay. So I think Audio Slave, pound for pound, track by track, is the best of, like, all. It might be the best super band ever. Like, I'm not even sure, like, who I would, like, because like you can listen to those 2 albums like all the way through. I remember just going through a phase of just it was like 1 and 2 like just back to back on one of my playlists, and I was just running all the way through like all the time. But I don't know. I mean, like it's sad to a point, but I think maybe it exposes a little bit of the psychological profile of when you kind of achieve things and you do seem to have everything, and not like from your perspective, none of it is like good enough. Like you know, like there's like almost like a pursuit there, and that could drive you into like I guess like temporary madness.
I never pinned him as a depressed person though.
Well, we don't know. We don't fucking know. We don't know what these guys... We have no... Look, there's stories about Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger's been around forever. Mm-hmm. We still have no idea. All those stories could just be, like fantasy. Like, you don't know. But, I mean, obviously, like, that... I think, like, you have insight into a person's personality when they do something like this, or when it's sudden, or when they seem to be healthy, and they seem to have things going for them. And that's still not enough.
Right.
Like, it's, you know, and I guess
it's gone. Then it's just like, what? You know?
Yeah, right. and I guess it's like a little bit of that paradigm where people who do struggle have less of a suicidal statistic. See, the people who don't struggle commit suicide. The people who do struggle don't. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, the people that seem to have everything are the ones that commit suicide. Even, like, with drug abuse and things like that. which is very, very different. But anyway, tell me more about television.
Okay. So I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to... I'm going to go to NBC.
NBC.
So NBC has nothing. They had Powerless,
What's
which
that?
got canceled.
What's Power? Tell me what
That was
Powerless.
that was like the damage control DC one,
Oh yeah, we
where it was
discussed
the
that.
insurance company,
Yeah.
and it was pretty good. Now I really want to see the
isn't
failed
it
pilot.
The guy from Firefly in that.
Yeah, so Alan,
funny
Alan
guy.
Tudyk.
Yeah.
Who was what's
He's
his
in
name?
things now.
Yeah,
It's like
well,
a
he was
voice of something.
He was what's his name? He was the robot from Rogue One.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't think of his name.
K2S2.
K2SO.
K2SO.
Which is so. He's just kind of like a fan thing.
Yeah,
He's
is.
going to be on Dirk Gently season 2.
Yeah. Okay.
They just got signed for that because I guess Powerless. So he's always in work.
So how long did Powerless last?
They have 10 episodes, I believe 3 or 4 unaired, and it's
Wow.
canceled.
Okay, and tell me
And-
about the pilot you were about to say.
There was a pilot, and it screened, and it went okay, and then they completely reshot it.
Okay.
So I want to see the original pilot, but I didn't have any problem with this,
Yeah.
because my expectations were so low
Right, you were entertained.
that I liked it, and I
See,
thought it was pretty funny.
Why can't
because,
you go into movies like that?
Because there's no Powerless comic book. There's nothing. Because I've read everything. So
but the thing is though, like you still know. Look,
I
like
can't.
you already compared it to a existing concept.
Well, or my brain works overtime
Yeah.
to fit it in some type of mold. Like
Works-
where is
works
this?
overtime?
No, like all right. So
Yeah.
I'll skip. So I'll move right to AMC. So here's
let's
the
talk about
AMC
AMC.
problem, right? So the AMC problem is this. So Walking Dead goes to the comic, way off, back, way off. So I can't watch Walking. And you know what? It's too much. Like I don't understand. I feel like it's abuse when you watch Walking Dead. It's just like it's debilitating and sad, and it's never like you never have like, man, that was a great episode. I was so uplifted.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I'm too happy of a person to watch it
You know,
anymore.
I agree with what I agree.
And I am fascinated with how many people fucking like that show.
Yeah.
It amazes me how many people watch it and like it. And I'm like,
Do you think it's because of they kind of the psychological term is cycling, where the pain you feel you try and you forcefully inflict onto others, and maybe some people have miserable lives and that show helps them cycle. Like the show validates
maybe
how they feel
I
about
guess that could make
themselves.
sense. I'm sure there's a ton more miserable people watching it
Because
get that rating.
because like and the only
That rating's nuts.
and the only reason why I said what I said about that real quick is because the 3 people I know that are completely committed to Walking Dead, I do view them as miserable people, completely miserable. And when you said
Right.
that, I'm like, wow, that is like a mental model.
I can't do it. I'm pretty I mean,
Yeah.
I think you know me. I think I'm pretty
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
yeah, like you and I talked about music, and you like not knowing what my music taste is. Like that's kind of like a mystery to you. One of my angles with music is that I kind of like the last few years I've been in a phase where I like uplifting music more than like anything. Like I like music that makes me feel good, even though I was at a Norwegian metal band. but believe it or not, lyrically, like their songs are just about kind of like, like fighting and surviving and being powerful and being strong. And it's a lot of the music I work out to. So like there's all these like it was weird listening to them because I'm like, oh, usually I would be hitting my deadlifting set to like this song.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no bar here to lift. This is so weird for me
You
because
have to
like
pick up a box of comics.
yeah,
Have some comics in the pretty place.
throw them out. Yeah, but yeah, but Mark's
So
been
many
turning
comics
his head. Yeah,
I love it.
We're surrounded by comic books right now,
It's so great.
and that's because I've been re-inventorying.
We should do a weird thing where you just pick one up and I could just probably tell you who did it.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
we could we should do that to one another. Maybe we should like have a stack, and we'll have like a score.
Oh, that's good. That'd be good.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
we'll try to write the ship. So AMC.
Yeah.
My problem
No,
with it, like,
we're fine. We got a couple tangents.
so
but
my brain with the AMC shows is that sometimes I like when they go off the rails. Oh, and the other thing. So you read that, you kind of have that idea of the miserableness of that.
Yeah.
There's another theory that I read a long time ago is that people really love The Walking Dead because they are so consumed with electronics and they can't fathom a world where there's not.
Oh.
Like that they want to watch that difference, like Civilization, because it's so different than their convenience of now.
Yeah, it's almost
there's
like
no convenience there.
They're obsessed with
the survivalism of aspect of it.
Yeah, it's maybe that was, I think, a part of the draw for Mad Men, where people were fascinated of that era.
Taboos, like it was probably the taboo. Like they're drinking in their office, they're smoking in their office. Yeah, like you believe this? They don't have seatbelts on. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is
yeah. Well, my favorite part is they go on to a picnic, and he just throws the trash on the ground, he just flips the blanket and folds the blanket, and everything's just there. He doesn't take it with him. Oh my god! And it's that's
probably a thing. Yeah, I mean, I do think that. So I think that's
fantastic. Yeah, that was awesome addition. Yeah.
Now Preacher had some of the tone right, but this is where I go into when sometimes people are so close to it they can't see it. So those guys supposedly really like it, and I didn't get past episode 3 maybe.
Everything I saw of it seemed like it was action driven, and I never
I don't know.
when I've read those and I think I had almost all the trade paperbacks at one time.
Okay.
It never seemed action, even though there was obviously action in it, but it never seemed like it would be an action vehicle. It was so much more than that to me. And the preview, everything they show of that, it seems like it's a downhill action adventure type.
Yeah, the first
type thing. Well, I can't even pinpoint how they're trying to position it.
I can't really figure it out either. I don't know. But the whole first season is before the beginning of the comic books. So it was a bit of a prequel, a little bit. Oh. So there was still the way they got together a little bit. So the next one's the road trip. The road trip is pretty much right away in the comics.
Yeah,
season 2 is a road trip. So I'm just maybe I'll try it. Maybe can I skip it? But then I get so completist that I'm I have to go back and watch it. I can't help myself. I can't read issue 3. I can't do anything. I do have a weird because I love. All right, so we'll finish up this, and then I have a capper. So Freeform is ABC Family.
Freeform.
So Freeform, the network Freeform was ABC Family. Oh. So ABC is Disney. So they have Cloak and Dagger. You saw, and we talked about that.
You know what, dude? Okay,
that looks good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but the Freeform, that's where Pretty Little Liars is. I think, is that right? Does that sound right?
Yes, Pretty Little Liars.
So they have a little thing going on.
A threesome?
I don't know. No, I mean they have a little bit of. They have a little bit of ratings. They have something going on the channel.
They got some traction.
Yeah. So they have Cloak and Dagger. The trailer I think is great. I think it's fine.
I agree. Yeah.
It looks pretty fresh. But they announced New Warriors. Did you see this?
No.
Yeah, New Warriors. Now
not the New Warriors.
A little. So they're doing. Here's the thing. They're doing Night Thrasher and Speedball. Yes. Okay.
New Warriors is getting a show.
Yes, and the showrunner was the person who co-show ran Cougar Town, not the guy who did Scrubs.
Okay.
But the other guy. I don't know his name, but I just wrote down he did Cougar Town. Now, but it now has Mr. Immortal, Microbe, and Debris, who I don't know who those are 3 severely low and D+. But then they have the X Factor having Squirrel Girl in there.
Wait.
I don't know how that's going to work.
So it's a comedy.
I think they're marketing it as a comedy. Yeah, they're marketing it as a comedy.
Okay. Wait. Sorry, I was trying.
But Night Thrasher's in it and Speedball's in it. So but I don't know because the picture that they have of those people drawn.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of TVs behind them. So if you remember, New Warriors had a miniseries before Civil War.
Where Speedball becomes Penance.
Not yet. Well, they had where they were reality television show.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it was Zeb Wells and Scotty Young.
Yes.
It was good.
Yeah.
And then that team was filming something the first issue of Civil War, the same exact concept.
Yes, yeah.
And then was it Avalanche? Avalanche, was that right? Well, I think they were in Stamford, Connecticut, and Avalanche goes in, and then they're like, we're gonna go stop them, and then Avalanche thing is he explodes. So he like blew up. Was it not Avalanche?
No,
I'm trying to think of his name.
No, it was, I want to say Gravity, but not Gravity.
And Gravity was a hero.
I forget who.
I don't know. But anyway, he explodes. He's got white hair.
Yeah.
But he explodes and like kills the whole town.
Yeah.
And then Civil War happens, basically.
Right.
So
yeah, so right now, okay, so just off the top of my head, there's Cloak and Dagger, New Warriors, Krypton.
Yeah, Krypton. I didn't even put some of the weird
sci-fi. Yeah.
Krypton's like it's
and Runaways, right?
Yeah, Runaways have that's on Hulu.
Yeah, so as of right now, TV is in cinema mode where they're just strip mining just more comic ideas. Like they're really strip mining comics. So this is something that's not going to go away. It's not going to be a fad because some of these shows are going to hit. They're going to be around for a long time. And then eventually we'll see people picking it. We'll see other people picking it up. Like New Warriors might fail, but someone else is going to pick it up and give it another try a few years from now.
Yeah, or it could be V. 10 years from now, they're like, we're going to put New Warriors back on.
Don't knock V.
I'm not, but I'm saying they tried to do V again.
Yeah, I know.
And then it was pretty bad. But I remember I saw a commercial for it, or it was on one of my feeds, and I'm like, is this new? And I'm like, oh wait, I did watch this a couple years ago, and it wasn't good. Because it was on CW and it wasn't good. I'm like, damn it, because it had Marina Baccarin in it.
Yeah,
and she's just like a staple. She's on Gotham. She's Dr. Leslie.
Yeah,
Tompkins, and I'm like, okay.
That was V was a part of the Lost,
They even had a character from Lost, I think. In that.
Yeah,
she went over.
Right. Yeah, where it was kind of they had a couple shows that all tried to emulate Lost during the height of Lost, which is phenomenal because that show was just you'll never see something like that on television ever again. That it really captured the imagination.
Well, I think that was the thing where Lost was the first show culturally, in a way, and maybe just because I saw this documentary yesterday. But Damon Lindelof's talked about Twin Peaks, and he's like, I tried to do some stuff in Lost that was weird.
Yeah.
And try to capture imagination, and they did succeed. They did.
Yeah.
But I think even with Twin Peaks season 2, way back 25 years ago, it does jump the shark. It does break.
Yeah. Well,
I remember watching the Lost episode where I'm just like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
It was season 3. I'm like, I think I'm out.
Yeah. With Twin Peaks, part of the break for that was you were never supposed to know who killed Laura Palmer. The network insisted that get revealed in season 2.
Right,
and then once I think once that happened,
it just sucks
it kind of. But you know what? I remember reading an article in Entertainment Weekly a long time ago about Prison Break. It was I think it was about Prison Break 24, and there was another show that all the premises were what do you do after season 1? What do you Prison Break? What do you do when they break out of the prison?
Oh, 24, 24. They only had 6. They didn't even sign 24 episodes. They signed 6.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
they had a treatment for 6. They were like, this probably isn't going to hit.
It should just be called 6.
They can't call it 6 because they're trying to sell the whole season. But the first 24 season is pretty it's pretty solid. And I think Lou Diamond Phillips he wasn't even, he got paid later. There was some weird thing with that where he sort of leaned at an actor and called Lou Diamond Phillips, and Lou Diamond Phillips worked without a contract, and then they had to figure out a way to pay him later because they were just making shit up. They're like, do you have any friends? They were literally writing it as it was going. It was nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And that other show in that article was Desperate Housewives.
Right.
Desperate Housewives was invisible third party narration of someone that got killed or was dead.
It's Brenda Strong, yeah.
Yeah, in the show.
Because you wouldn't think that they would have a character she was on Melrose Place. She's Lex Luthor's mom.
Oh,
and Lena Luthor's mom in Supergirl.
Oh, yeah. So,
that's another stunt casting that works,
Yeah, I agree. So, the whole point of this article was what do you do when it reveals who the killer is? What do you do when it's when you're done with a season that has a short premise? And 24 was I guess the only one that stuck with people, that kept going.
They would just tap into They tap into world events.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
when
it was
like they
Homeland.
did, they did whatever
yeah.
world event was happening, like it scared the crap out of you. So
Yeah.
they're like the one they would do like biological weapons. You're like, oh, this is so scary because this has happened. It's
Yeah.
a mall.
Yeah,
it's in my school. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's in my park. That's my car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like get out of my car.
But yeah, so I mean I don't know. Like so like just we'll go through this real quick and then we'll have you finish up. What's next? Like what can they? Because dude, like they've strip mined Marvel Street already. Like the Marvel Street characters are strip mined.
That's Netflix.
Yeah, the weird side stuff is already strip mined. I mean, if you got New Warriors, Cloak and Dagger, and Runaways coming up.
Well, I think what's fascinating is that the stuff that like I try to think about it when I see the movies. We talked about this when we talked about Doctor Strange a month ago. Doctor Strange is a D-level book.
Yeah.
It's a D-level seller. So when I was mad about certain things in
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, I'm like, well, they did this, this, and this. And I was like, it's not weird like this. And you're like, yeah, man, it's like a $200 million movie.
Right.
They can't do that shit. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Like if you take it like exactly like that. So X-Men sells 1 million copies, right? So say that's like viewers, so 1 million people. And then Inhuman sells 100,000 copies, right? So that's right? So I should read, so like the rating should be like that. But that's not the way but then Guardians of the Galaxy sells 45,000 copies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't because it just sold 200 million copies.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get it. Like it's disproportional, but this is where like sometimes the people that make this stuff like they know better than like the core, like the critics or the people like us. Like they do know more. Like they kind of know that like adding a Batcave in a Batman TV show just solves problems. It explains things. It's understandable. Like in their mind, the way what it sets up far excuses like what would happen if they stuck to the source material. Like it's I think a lot of times like what they implement is problem solving.
right.
Okay, and that's what a lot of people miss. Like, I still think Tony Stark and Iron Man is like a huge example of the problem solving that they solved with that character that none of the comics ever had. Like, it was never that smooth. It was never that interesting. And that's what that became like a extremist or extremist. And it
actually like went backwards, and now like Iron Man's compelling in the comics because of the movies.
Exactly.
Where it was never something like you're like, I love that Iron Man run.
Yeah.
Says no one. Like you know what I mean? It's
there's
like
no except for extremists.
Iron Wars 2. Only Iron Wars 2 because
who wrote that?
it's
John
J.R. Bob Layton. Oh wait, no. You're right. John Byrne scripted Iron Wars 2.
Okay.
And it was, I don't know if it was Bob Layton. Like, he scripted it. He might have wrote it, too. Yeah, there was a John Romita Jr. period where it was just, like, he could just do, like, at that time, I thought he could just do no friggin' wrong. Like, I just think that, like, he came off of Daredevil. He did Iron Man. And then he went back to Daredevil and then kind of created a bigger style. They were even different.
Yeah.
And then he did Warzone.
He did. Oh yeah, the words, dude. You know what, dude? One of the all-time Punisher images, which never gets repeated, which I like. It's just like it's when he's on that ledge. He's holding himself up with the rope, and he's flicking the grenades while getting shot at. Dude, that is such a. I think it's a double pager.
It's a
sideways.
Yeah, it's a sideways
dude,
double page.
That is one of the highest drawings that dude ever cranked out.
Oh, that's how heavy.
We
Are you trying to
have
find
a
it?
visitor. No, I'm sorry. Dallas just woke up. He looks like Rocket Raccoon sometimes. Like the side of his face is like smashed.
That's awesome.
What's up, buddy? Okay, finish up. Yeah.
So,
Bring it home.
I have two things, and then I have like a finisher. So I came across two trailers. I was looking through stuff. I came across two trailers. Did you see the Orville trailer? Do you know what that is?
No.
So that's the Seth MacFarlane, like doing the Galaxy Quest.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, okay, yeah. What was that?
Well, he's basically doing Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I'll just watch Galaxy Quest.
I don't know if it can sustain a season. I don't know how much money they gave him, and I also don't think that Seth MacFarlane can be a leading man. There's something strange with that guy. I think that like he has a very strange ego Because if you ever watch any of his weird feud stuff, he gets in like fights fast with people.
Yeah,
and it's really weirdly out of proportion.
You know what it is when I saw him in that. There's a story of his that came to mind, where I forget the name of the club. Okay, he tries to get into a club in Los Angeles, and is told like, no, you're not like cool, you're not good looking enough, and he gets turned away, and then. I guess in his mind, because he's rich from Family Guy, he has Family Guy money. He sends the club like 100 like bouquets of flowers as like an FU or something ridiculous like that. And when I saw him like in basically as Captain Kirk,
right?
I'm like, oh, you just want to be on TV, so you get on the club now. Like
there's a weird inflated
you want to be
reality.
allowed into the club finally, and this is your way. I guess, was he in that 1 Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah, that was his tryout to do some live action stuff, because I think with American Dad and the fandom of Family Guy,
yeah,
he makes a lot of money. So they figured some of that would translate, and he did Ted, and Ted that made money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I love Ted 1.
So I think Ted 2 was a no-brainer, and that came out. It was the same exact movie, and then, the Once Upon a Time in the West didn't do anything though. That failed miserably.
Okay, I'm sorry. Look, I just googled it. Seth to Crown Bar. I guess the name of the place was Crown Bar. I can buy you, bitch. Seth MacFarlane just got a little more awesome. The Family Guy creator was majorly dissed outside Crown Bar last week by a cocky doorman.
What year was this? Is that like
2008. Okay, but instead of whining about it, he took the classy route and sent three bouquets totaling $5,000 to the bar last night. This is on the heels of him signing a $100 million deal with Fox. Okay, so it wasn't as much as I thought. But he sent them $5,000.
Yeah, but I've heard different things with him, and like
that's just weird.
There's other things with him that I've heard over the years like that.
Yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is he will probably be president because of his ego, just like our president now.
I don't think he's smart enough to be our president.
No. But did you ever watch that the correspondence dinner where everyone's insulting him and saying he can never be president? They kind of cite that as the day he's like, I'm going to be president, because they told him he couldn't be president.
Well, supposedly Obama mocked him during that correspondence dinner. But the thing is, though, Trump for his entire career flirted with politics. He was going to make a bid within New York at one time. So I followed Trump. I followed Trump for his entire career. Like he always flirted with politics. It was no secret. People wanted him. He was kind of like gearing up around when Romney lost. And when he endorsed Romney, that was like a big deal, because at that point Donald Trump was a voice within the Republican Party coming from like an economic standpoint. Because look, you can say what you want about him, but you do not become a billionaire by not having massive amounts of friends, because people will not do business with you if they don't view you as a friend, if they don't respect you. That's at the end of the day, there's no vulture capitalist in Donald Trump. You don't become a billionaire like that. Now, that doesn't mean he may not be racist or a little bit sexist or a little bit old school or different here and there. Maybe. But at the end of the day, you can go through his payroll. You can see what he spends on women. You can see that he's promoted people that drove him around to executive positions. Some of his limousine drivers are, millionaires. Okay? So, there's all this stuff, but you don't get to his level, making enemies and being a dick. Now, from, a media standpoint, does it drive up your ratings trashing him? At this point, yes. And we've seen that across the board. But I don't know. I don't really understand. I get the fear. I get why you would be weirded out by a candidate like him. I don't understand the fear of
thinking what he's going to do. Because he's in Washington, and I have to wake up tomorrow and get to work. And I want to log into my Xbox tonight and play Halo. There's no decision he's making to block that. Like, that's my life.
Right now.
But, like,
net neutrality is going to break all that.
Well, I mean, like, that's the other thing, too. It's like the people for net neutral, like, for that, like, Obama already, like, made huge concessions with those people that would benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's already, like, the DNA for that is already there because of activism. And when you come in through activism and you have your political positioning on activism, okay, it creates far more harm than good. Like than you can ever imagine. When you're kind of like objective and have limited goals, like those are really like that's how you are effective as a president. You can't be everything. The most effective presidents are the ones that came in and you're like, oh, like this guy's going to be like for the economy. Oh, this guy's going to be big on defense. Like this guy's going to open up trade routes. Like those are usually like the ones that are effective. The ones that are like that really do harm, even people like Woodrow Wilson, FDR, Obama, the ones that have done real harm are the ones that try and do everything for everybody. Okay? Because that's not the role of government. Government's not there to make you happy. It's not. Mm-hmm. Like you live your life to like make you happy. Like the government's supposed to enable you to make happiness in your life. It's not supposed to create the happiness. And when we go to the movies, what's the one lesson we learn whenever we see utopia in movies? Utopia is a lie. We saw in Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, beautiful planet. Yeah, so pretty. It's a lie. And that I think that's a lot of what the Obama administration sold was utopia that turned out to be a lie. Just drove us more in debt.
So I should just play a light football with my dad when I can and listen to Cat Stevens. That's the best thing to do.
Dude, I love that fucking Cat Stevens song too, man. Dude, that was so fun. That was so sad too. Like,
it's pretty.
But wait a minute.
That song's pretty tough,
dude. The Zune at the end.
That's pretty fun,
dude. I rocked the Zune for like the longest time.
You had
that. I got my Zune Halo box up there still. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Dude, really the Zune was I was so into the Zune. It was so superior over iPod. Because you paid $10 a month. It was a subscription-based service, and you could download the music.
I don't know.
Whatever, man. Enough politics.
enough politics. More Zune.
I don't want to upset your father. Because I know he's listening.
He's the fan.
Your father's chewing glass right now. Trying to get through this part.
So the other weird trailer that I came across that I thought was amazingly effective, even though I didn't want to like it.
Yeah.
I saw a review of the trailer and it said it was good. So they're doing a Big Bang Theory prequel show?
Oh, I saw this came up on my feed. It's Sheldon, right? Sheldon younger. Who's Sheldon again? He's like the typical nerdy guy.
Yeah. He's Jim Parsons, the tall one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The one that wasn't on Roseanne.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's where that dude's from.
Mm-hmm.
That's
why Jonathan Galecki Roseanne.
Oh, that's why. Oh, now I have to go back and watch him on Entourage. He'll probably be funnier because I know they use him in Entourage.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, why is he familiar?
Yeah, but Jim Parsons. So he's producing. So the Sheldon on the show, he's a writer on this show. He narrates it very like Wonder Years like.
Oh, okay.
And it's taking place, like, I guess in the early 90s, so it's kind of like a cool... It's not like the Goldbergs, where it's like going to be like super like cheesy retro.
Yeah.
It's like a little retro, like it's a little bit different. And he's going to grade school. He's like maybe 10.
Do you think little retro works anymore? Because like the last few movies that were like quote-unquote period movies, I can't remember. I saw like a few, and every time I would watch it, like I kept having to remind myself, like like X-Men Apocalypse, good example.
Right.
Like you have to remind yourself the movie takes place in the 80s. When you watch it,
push it.
They're dressed like they are in the 80s, but things today are so retro that even when the girl has like a blazer with the pushed up sleeves, and when they go to like the mall, like you're like, oh,
shoulder pads.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, it's just like stylish from today. Like I don't know, but yeah, so. That's interesting. So, and that's on what?
But they should be
ABC.
It's on CBS.
CBS.
But it's very Wonder Years, and like, and the trailer was pretty good. They did like a 5-minute preview trailer of
I'll have
probably
to
the
catch
pilot.
that. I'm interested.
And
in
I was
that.
like, you know what? Like, this doesn't exactly. I don't like. To me, I think that the misstep with like, I understand that everyone loves like they watch The Big Bang Theory, and the thing is, I think they watch it in a different way. Like you said, like the miserable people want to watch that. The miserable people want to watch The Walking Dead. I want to think people that are moderately smart watch this and think they get smarter, but they don't because it's not just because they're watching scientists doesn't make them smarter,
but,
right?
No, but you know what? I think I do think there's like there's something that happens because here's the thing, like I kind of like I'll do that a lot when I get into work mode. Mm-hmm. Like when I get into work mode, I put on like Social Network. I'll put on the first season of Catch Fire. Halt and Catch Fire. Yeah, like the first season that, or I'll put on like a documentary about like the creation of Atari, or like I just bought this awesome Hugh Hefner documentary on. Like I'll put things on like that, even though I know what's in the documentary. I'm not really picking up anything new, but just like the idea of just information being displayed. Period. And I never seen Big Bang Theory. Like I've only seen clips. But you could watch that show and just like kind of like get that blood going in your brain. I don't know. Like
yeah, I'm trying to think
it's
like,
a little bit related.
I'm just trying to think like how are people watching this? You're talking like 4 kind of outcast scientists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one's an immigrant who barely speaks English, or he can't talk to women, he doesn't talk.
Sounds like that Silicon Valley show on
HBO.
the
Silicon. I mean, but I think that those are much more talented, like stronger character actors. You know what I mean? Like that's a high quality. It's Kumail and TJ. Like it's so. I mean, they're huge.
He cracks me.
They're huge character actors. Like so, when they cast that, they're just looking at Martin Starr, like all those guys. Yeah. I can tell you the shows I saw them on before. I'm like, oh my god, he was in Portlandia. He was in Party Down. Like you know what I mean? I could tell you like, they were all in the stuff. You know, TJ was here. Like he was there. Well, Crashing was also on HBO. That was really good. That finished up pretty well. It was pretty fun.
I tried to watch that. I don't know if I was watching the right show or not.
That's almost like watching, but every episode's gonna be a little different because every episode is kind of a different period, but it's also a different comedian like centric. So watch the Sarah Silverman episode. That's probably the best one to watch.
I couldn't. That one's great. I don't know if I was watching the right show. You told me that was good, and I think if it's on Netflix.
No, it's only on HBO.
Okay, maybe there might be like another show. Anyway, yeah. Continue.
So, like,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Kind of the cap of everything, like, for me, this past season, like, hands down, like, A. Mm-hmm. I probably couldn't put it to an A+, but just because I think they did a couple things that I just thought were, like, pretty dated or rough. But I think I just completely go to Riverdale. I think Riverdale's just it.
Yeah, that show.
That's been since it started, like, hooked first episode.
That's captured.
That's it.
Yeah, that's captured you big time.
That was it.
Yeah, I do want to get into it just because I like it's so interesting. Like, do you remember, like, I guess when you and I, again, were, like, really in the mix, like, Archie was such, like, that was at the bottom of the comic, like, display, right? That was sold with the kids' books.
We put it at the front cash wrap under everything.
Yeah.
And no really order. Like, it was just, like, Archie and Simpsons comics.
Yeah.
And then digests.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what was funny was for Comic Book Day, I was in Philly. I went to South Philly Comics on Pass Young, and they had no Archie. They had 0. Wow. And I said, "Do you have any digests? Like my kids want some, like just some digests of old ones."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't have anything." He's like, "I don't have anything, man." And I was like, "Okay." And they had a Riverdale for Comic Book Day, and they had a Betty and Veronica for Comic Book Day.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was pretty cool. Like so, we got those.
Yeah.
But when we talked about period, like what's almost period, like they do a thing in this show where basically everyone dresses period. They dress almost as if like not really maybe not like really Mad Men, but like maybe a little bit push that.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone's dressed very specific, and it's they do this thing where it's almost like Twin Peaks, where it's like a little bit hazy. And they do a murder mystery. Who killed Jason Blossom? Like, they do a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Like, they actually have a dream sequence where they do the original outfits. I think I might even send you pictures of that. They did a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And
well, do you remember, like, real quick? I was going through some of my comics and I came across an adaptation of the Archie TV movie.
The Riverdale and back.
Right. That never got. Did that get aired?
It eventually
did that get
aired.
Released?
Yeah.
It eventually aired. But I remember that never coming on and the comic adaptation coming out.
there was a lot of that shit. Like where the Punisher movie adaptation came out.
Oh yeah.
And then the movie wasn't out.
Yeah, or like the Captain America, 1990.
Yeah.
You know, with the Joe. Did both of them have a Drusco cover? Joe Drusco?
Yes, the Punisher one and the Cap one.
I know for sure the Cap one did. Dude, he was on. That dude was like.
He lives around here. He lives.
Does he live around?
Lives in PA. Yeah. He used to sign in Plymouth Meeting.
I guess I remember having a long conversation with him. I think 2004 was the last time I was at
Avon used to live around here. Mike Avon, he used to live in Jersey. He used to live like I forget exactly where.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah.
But then now he's in Portland, so
yeah,
that's good.
Good for him. Is he still drawing for Marvel? What's he doing?
He's doing the Young Animal book. He's doing Cape Carson. He's doing Cape Carson and the Cybernetic Eye for Young Animal, which is the Vertigo, which is Gerard Way's Vertigo series.
Okay.
So, but just to pull back on Riverdale. So to me, Riverdale, as I said earlier, like they pretty much pulled like the stunt casting a little bit, but they had the penultimate episode basically revealed who killed Jason Blossom, and then they had the season finale, which I thought was just nuts. And then they have a cliffhanger ending, and I thought they were going to do Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but they didn't, and it was fine. So, but kind of the funny thing, the weird roundabout thing with this was there was an episode in the middle where Jughead has this whole freak out episode about his birthday, and I had literally the same conversation with my girlfriend last week about like how I don't want anything for my birthday, and on the television show, and I showed you the picture of this like. She makes Jughead a giant cheeseburger cake.
Yeah, that's
and my girlfriend made me a cheeseburger cake and gave it to me today.
Yeah.
Just like that.
That's
and then
so
she wore the crown on the shirt just like Betty had in the show. It was like ridiculous. But it was just like and then and they're gonna be at Wizard World. So Wizard World's next week in Philly.
Oh, is it already next week?
I'm sorry, 2 weeks. It's June 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
The weekend of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So Friday night Wonder Woman, Saturday I have my sister's baby shower, and then Sunday is Wizard World. And I'm taking my kids to meet because all four were going to be there.
You are full, man.
I'm full. Well, I bought the tickets for that. So, and I'm doing the photo op for like the kids.
Yeah.
So they're going to meet. They're freaking out because they're going to meet Archie and Jughead.
That's
and
cool.
Veronica.
I'm trying to log into Xfinity right now to see what I could get on demand for this. But
that's the thing. The thing with Riverdale, like they didn't really stunt cast like Jughead, but like my kids know who Jughead is because that was Cole Sprouse from. Like Sweet Life, like he's one of the twins in Sweet Life. So, they, I don't know. To me, they just hit everything right. And the stunt casting there is they have Skeet Ulrich, who was in Scream. Molly Ringwald was Archie's mom for 2 episodes. Hermione Lodge was on the OC. Fred Andrews is Luke Perry.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they all went to acting school. Like there was an episode where Skeet Ulrich goes to jail. And he's talking to Jughead, and I'm just like, "What on earth? Am I crying right now?" Like I was like, "How is Skeet Ulrich bringing me to tears? This makes no sense." Like,
still an actor.
Just do the same thing. Yeah. And then Matt Janamick, who was on, she's Alice Cooper, pre-Alice Cooper, before like, not Alice Cooper like rock star Alice Cooper, but Alice Cooper is Betty's mom.
Yeah,
and she was on Twin Peaks. She was, I forgot it. I can't remember anyone's name tonight. I don't know. That must be this. I'm drinking the Yards Brawler. So this is heavier. This is not far. That's like a mile away. From
Yeah. The whole brewery is right down here. Yeah. We could walk there. Like it's maybe like a 20-25 minute
the
walk.
Mic's on.
Mic's on. Yeah, we're marching to the brewery.
We're gonna do full apparatus. We're gonna do next one. We're gonna do roving.
Oh, so is that it? Are we through?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I guess I would have to say like the landscape is hard for us. I think our issue is, I mean, we were so starved for it, we would settle for things. So, for example, like the Cape would come on, like, wait, did you see the Cape?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Or the Mantis.
Yeah, like we were in it. We're like, oh wow, because we were so starved. But now there's so much. We're so discerning. It's actually terrible.
Yeah. Do you remember Mutant X?
Yeah, you can watch that. That is on some streaming site now.
Oh, is it okay? There's Mutant X, or is it the Gen X?
Gen X
straight to TV movie,
with,
which actually was
Banshee.
Yeah,
with Finola Hughes, and then the girl who was in. I'm trying to think because the girl who played Jubilee was super cute. Yeah, there was a lot. Like there was a lot of tryout type of shows, and then they just like did not work.
I think it took a while to understand like what to do with the source material. Like how to present it, what lied, because like here's the thing, like if you were making millions of dollars, like producing TV shows,
like the idea of looking at a comic book for an idea would just seem stupid. But and then what happened was you had a generation of people that kind of came up dedicated to the source material, and they knew the nuance of comic books. So when they would like at one time you would look at a Cloak and Dagger cover and be like, how's that a TV show? Mm-hmm. And then you have a generation that comes up and says, no, like this is nothing like the cover. Like these are the characters. Let me explain these characters to you. And I think that was like a lot of like what happened, to where like at one time I think McFarlane used to say like the technology caught up to comic books, like movie wise, but then like also like representing the characters and knowing what to do within the story caught up. Like like there was like an intellectual side that caught up with presenting comic books at this, like that came up later. Like because even now it's like I still maintain like the worst. You like people are disappointed with Guardians of the Galaxy. I can see that. If you're disappointed with Guardians Volume 2, that movie's still more deeper and nuanced than like a mid-level big budget movie from like anyone from the 90s. Like like you compare that to Armageddon. Like what's, even though I completely love Armageddon, but what's more like watchable? Like Guardians Volume 2 is exponentially more watchable because it's still a complete arc. It's like there's so much more there and they understood what to do with like just on a conversational standpoint of like I don't know, but like I did pick real quick. I guess maybe I'll talk about this. We'll tease the next episode for you and I, okay? But in Guardians Volume 2, like the post-credit sequence when Yondu's friend is trying to whistle the arrow.
Yeah.
They bury Yondu with the prototype. He's wearing the prototype when they shoot him off and they burn him. Oh. And then the guy in the post-credit sequence has the prototype. And we know there's only one because it's called the prototype.
I didn't realize that.
I picked that up last night and I was like, Not that it matters, because I'd love it that it's.
I don't know if they're gonna use Kraglin and if he's gonna be in the Guardians. I have no idea. That's a movie.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like but you know what though? Like proportionally, I know like Valentino drew Yondu like jacked, but Yondu could like kind of works as this tall, skinny dude, like archer wise.
Well, he never.
Like, also,
he had an archer, and then he would use his powers to guide the arrow.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't exactly like that,
He aims with his heart, not his head.
He aims with his heart. To me, the emotional beats in Guardians 2, the Mary Poppins y'all is the best line, and like the emotional and like I've never seen my kids like freak out and cry like that. Like that's never.
That's what I mean.
Well, Pete's Dragon was also brutal too. Like the Pete's Dragon remake was
that's
nuts.
That's the best of the. No, I still like Jungle Book so much. It's Pete's Dragon, Jungle Book, neck and neck.
Jungle Book for me, because I'm a process junkie. All I could do is think about how it was done in like a little studio. Yeah. And to me, like I don't even know if the movie's good because I'm like, how'd they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Beauty and the Beast, and I disliked it immensely, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the more I go through with that, the one of my issues with that was the forced backstory with the mother, which was weird. The Paris transportation, like teleportation trip, I felt was weird.
Yeah. You saw it? I didn't know you saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. Saw it with a girl. Yeah, the Italian. Remember her?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that over?
Just remember her. Great girl, though. Great girl. She really is, though. She was probably, like, one of the ones that,
I just didn't make it.
But Dallas had other plans. Right there. He's watching
mischievous.
us. Yeah. Look, you see him blended into the bed sheets? See him on the bed?
Oh, I could barely see
Isn't that awesome?
Did you get that on purpose?
Yeah. I wanted him to, in case a Asian breaks in, he can have a chance.
Oh my god. So like weird stuff. Like, what are you gonna do with all this stuff? What are you doing here?
This is like I said, this is eBay. I'm up to
This stuff from your
I think
parents' house.
What
is this?
No,
stuff?
this is from my storage site.
Oh my god.
I still have a full storage site that I'm liquidating. No, dude, I'm up to nearly 200 active listings right now. I get, like I'll go through stretches. I'll get like a couple dozen sales a week now.
Oh
That quickly. So it's all right. I'm just like, it's just sitting. It's just Kazash. I streamlined the shipping. Like I ship comics amazingly quick now. I just have a way of like doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was always one of my fear about selling the comics over
Right.
eBay. But I don't listen with condition at all. I just say, look, I said it's sold as is, and I said, please inspect pictures for condition, and I have like all the angles of the book you would need to determine the condition. Some of the older ones, I'll include interior page, so they can see if it has like white pages.
Like it's a color grading.
Yeah, which is completely ridiculous because if the book is like, if you're getting a little bit of a deal on the book, it's not white pages. Like
Right.
That
Ghost Rider's not white pages right there.
Yeah, like some of these people do not understand that, and when they start, they'll make a purchase and start asking those questions, and I'll like refund them and cancel the transaction right away. Like I'll give them back their money. I'm like, I look, you go to this seller that has it listed and guarantees it. Like don't go to my, like don't go to mine. But anyway, all right. So real quick, I just wanted to tease the next episode. Because is this going to be? I guess this is going to be a little bit of a tennis match, right? Because you're all for the button.
I'm for it.
The button.
The button.
Press the button, and I am. I will say this. Wow, like, Alex Howard Porter's arc-wise, incredible.
He's not no inker. He's doing
it's
half
like
pencils, half like color grade inks.
Yeah, it's amazing. Because his stuff was like, I don't know, just bad at one point.
It was very stunted. It was very like he couldn't draw women right. Like it was like they were always like a little still. They were very stilted.
But what an arc his career had in a positive way, not the Ed McGuinness way. But we're going to, I guess we're going to disagree on that. Like some of the things I want to say about it. But I think it's, I don't know, the biggest story in comics right now.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to continue to be.
I like that they just drop it and then they're like, okay, this other thing's coming later.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Which is now kind of, is it Dr. Manhattan or is it Blue Electric Superman? I don't know. We'll leave it there.
Because of the font. It's not gonna happen. Font. It's all font, buddy.
It's a simple trick, but it can't be that obvious, right?
I think that's the point. It's that obvious.
Yeah,
it's on the nose, buddy.
Yeah. Well, we're going to discuss that. Maybe you can forward me something else. Maybe we'll do like, I don't know, Secret Empire. Maybe. I don't know about that.
You're gonna throw up.
I'm gonna get angry with that too.
I actually, you know what? It would be interesting for you to try and read that. I think it's completely impenetrable. I think if you tried to read that, like, just completely, that would be a good experiment. I should send you impenetrable books. Okay. Here's books that, like, impenetrable meaning that you have had to, I've never stopped reading. Yeah. So between me and Peter, like, I've have periods where you've had periods where you stop reading.
Yeah.
I've never stopped reading.
Good chunks, yeah.
I haven't stopped reading comic books. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never stopped reading comic books.
I will say this. Every time I get back in, it angers me more.
And I think maybe it doesn't anger me because I'm just in it, and I have no idea.
Well, you have I think you're a little bit like the old lady at home that watches soap operas every day.
I'm so optimistic. I am silver lining, bro. I'm so silver lining
that watches her stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for me,
you know what? Like, there's an amazing comfort in, like, there is a thing, and that's like the same thing as, my mom watches her Brave and the, I want to say Brave and the Bold and the Beautiful, the Bee and the Bee. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Oh, that's why I gave you that extra Batman issue.
Yeah,
because
I'll jump into that.
Like,
right
okay,
away.
so that's a good example of that's a complete one shot. I think it's one of the best issues of the year. So just like read. So now you're reading something that's kind of continuity heavy of stuff you kind of know about with Watchmen.
Yeah.
And Batman and Flash, and then read something that's just completely by itself with Batman and Swamp Thing, and it's a one shot called The Brave and the Mold, because that's Swamp Thing. It's actually yeah,
that's awesome.
But that's one of my favorite issues of the year. And then I should give you like a new Archie book, because
I mean the Archie stuff is just like gets me going.
I also don't, but to me it's confusing because like, okay, I just turned 40, like now, right?
This is
just
like,
now.
We're like,
so like, but I don't know who that Archie book's for. Like, who's reading that? Like, who wants that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I'm not.
We're in a weird zone right now when it comes to comics, because I think for the first and when I was telling you earlier about it, I feel like it is dark days, because the books now, like, look, DC has a thing going because they're still marketing to the core, and they're doing something that fires up the core, and that is exponentially better all of a sudden than trying to expand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we've seen companies, Marvel being one of them, that try to expand, and they come in, here we go, through activism, and it's complete disaster. Okay, which we predicted here on Dream Warriors. We also predicted that Ghost in the Shell was going to be a success. Now, look, I don't know. Did
that was me. I was all about it. I was like, this is going to be huge.
You kind of convinced me, and I was all for that movie bombing, and you kind of had me go. Like, you turned me on the show, but when I saw Guardians for the first time, we snuck in for like an hour of Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of solid.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to watch it. It's like on the stream soon.
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I was into it, but no. Let's get going. We're going to do the button as a full episode, and we're going to do some other comic book talk next time. And we'll always be discussing trailers, little news. I think it's good. We're taking a little break from the alien stuff, because I kind of did like back-to-back aliens things, but we can still discuss Alien Covenant, because you had good a good take on that, which I thought was like more honest than some of the other reviews that I read.
Yeah, the reviews for that
saw
are all over the place.
Yeah,
all over the place.
But like, would you? Like, I was kind of expecting that, but I was expecting a level of adulation, which does not seem to be there. No. It's like tolerating with concession, or confused as fuck. And that's kind of, it is a little bit of the Prometheus effect, I think. But I think that movie's also grounded to Prometheus. Mm-hmm. They should have just did a Prometheus sequel. With the Xenomorph. They could. They're doing fantasy genealogy morphing anyway. So you could just say this thing and that, now all of a sudden Xenomorph. Everyone would have been balled in on it. Yeah.
It's like a genetics lesson in the middle of this movie. I'm just like, what am I watching? Am I watching?
I love. Okay,
it's a chemistry set.
We'll talk more about that. Signing off now. Mark signing off.
Signing off.
All right.
Happy birthday to me.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mark.